Tom Brady. Would you? Brady, how old's Brady? Brady's probably.
Yes.
Oh, damn! You didn't let me finish the question, Tay.
I know exactly. Hey, when you said Tom Brady, I knew what you said. Let me see what he gonna say. And then you got to talk about old he is. I don't care.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharpe. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay Shay. The guy that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today is one of the NFL best receiver. He's displayed generational talents and his ability, leading the league in receiving touchdowns twice. He's the three-time first-team All-Pro, a six-time Pro Bowler, Hall of Fame level talent, once recorded 24 touchdowns in a single college season. Fresno State thought so much of him, they retired his number 15, a superstar, Davante Adams.
Appreciate you having me, bro.
What's up, bro?
Appreciate
you good?
I'm great, man.
Hey, you know what, bro? After what you've done your first 10 years in the league, 6 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pro, leading the league in touchdown, bro, we got to toast to this.
We're going to toast, man.
And we were talking off camera earlier. You're not done yet.
I'm not done, man.
Continue success, bro.
Thank you, bro.
This is my personal cognac, Shea by Laportier, VSOP. Let me know what you think.
All right. That's some good stuff right there. I'm not a big drinker.
Right.
This right here is some good stuff.
That's what I'm talking. You heard it.
I'm not gonna lie because I seen you talk about Henny and this and that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like Hennessy at all.
We don't talk bad about the competition, but we feel good with what we got.
But this right here is that's him.
I appreciate that.
That's him. I thought E40. My uncle E40. He sent me some of that Tycoon. I don't know if you had that. That's pretty good, but yeah. Y'all right here with it. So,
okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
so y'all heard, go out and get your bottle of that Shea by Laportier, VSOP, best tasting VSOP on the market. You know what? Thank you. Let's get right into it. Entering into your 11th season. The first 10, bro, 6 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pro, led the league in receiving. But you've heard some of the critics. Davante, he had 100 catches, his 4th straight 100-catch season. Yeah. Another 1,000-yard season. The separation is not what it used to be. Yards per catch is not what they used to be. Yeah. Man, Davante's starting to slow down. How do you answer your critics?
Honestly, I don't answer them. I don't give an answer because I don't play for the reason why people ask me what I attribute a lot of my success to. And it's 2 main things. It's the fact that I keep my life real simple, real predictable, the things that I'm into. I don't got a million hobbies. I don't let my mind get all over the place. I got a few things I do business-wise, and I enjoy doing that. But for the most part, I just keep it real simple. And the other part is I'm a self-pleaser, man. I'm not really worried about my own expectation far exceeds what anybody else expects of me on the field. So when they say that, I'm already thinking that about myself, about not the separation and the details and things like that, but as far as what I have and what I can give to the game, if I'm not able to show that, I'm extreme. And you ask any of my teammates, coaches that I've had, I'm a real passionate dude. So they talk about this and that. I always tell them, man, don't tell me we got a whole lot of season left after 2 bad weeks or 2 lackluster weeks on offense, or because it's not just about me. It's not just my show. I'm not expecting to get out there and be the only one making plays and this and that. But if I'm out there and we can't get it going on offense, and I'm not being given my opportunities or the right type of opportunities, well, then I have something to say about that. Because if one day I'm not going to be at the top of my game, but that ain't 2 days. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be like that one day. But if it ain't me, then I can't have nothing else hindering my ability to affect each and every game and each and every snap that I get out there. So that's my mentality. So whatever anybody got to say, that really got nothing to do with me. That's their job. They supposed to go ahead and do that, hate or comment on it or whatever it is. But the truth is in the film too. So if you watch the film and you're not just looking at the numbers all the time, which we talking about it. I had still 1,200 over 100 catches and that was a down year.
8 touchdowns.
If that's a down year, then I feel like we gonna be all right.
How much eval do you do from week to week, year to year? Do you go back say you play a game, do you watch yourself, critique yourself during the year, or do you wait to do an entire body of work after the season where you go back game by game, route by route, and break yourself down, or do you do it week to week?
Day by day.
Wow.
Day by day. You ask anybody, like, you talk about the consistency over the course of 10, maybe the first few years wasn't what we wanted it to be, but then once I got rolling, it's just because of the way that I prepare, man, and the way that I critique myself. What I expect from myself is, like I said, I expect a lot. I know what I can provide, so I may go out there and lead the league in touchdowns. I still feel like that wasn't enough, because what you doing on the field got to do with me? Just because I led the league don't mean that I did my best.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I can go out there and have 150 yards, and really it could have been a 220-yard game. So we can talk about it like it's good when you look at the stats, but that's why I'd say the stats don't always tell the story. You can sit here and look at it and say 150, and that look like you come out of a game, you say, okay, good game, take.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I appreciate it. I'm always acknowledge the love, but at the end of the day, if I'm not able to maximize what I can do, it ain't got nothing to do with 100. Who decided that 100 yards is a good game?
Yeah, right.
I didn't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's maximizing every opportunity and every moment that I got in this league. Because like we was just talking about, it's going to be gone for it, and I'm going into 11, and people like, damn, it's 11 for you? I'm like, bro, like,
you went back quick, first 10.
Right? So I don't know if it's going to be another 10, but we ain't done yet.
Tell you what I used to do, like when I played, I would go leave a game, kind of like what you said, have 150, and I was like, damn, but those two drops, that's probably another 10, 15 right there. Now I got 165. Okay, if I come out of this, if I just did this, I could have broke that tackle, probably got another 15.
Right.
Do you constantly, like, it's never good, you're satisfied, but you're not satisfied.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying, and it's a tough game to play because you drive yourself crazy doing that.
You will.
But the other side of it is that I don't mind being a little crazy if it means that I'm demanding what I should for myself regardless,
right.
And if you're a lesser player, your mind won't even take you there because you don't have that expectation for yourself. But when you know what you can give to the game and help your team with, for me, I've been in this league for a minute now and I still haven't been to a Super Bowl. So
right.
I feel like, cool, you could say that I had a great career, this and that, but I haven't been able to affect the game enough to win a Super Bowl yet. So I feel like that must mean that I'm not doing as much as what I can
right.
or as much as what I need to, even. So that's the way I look at it. Like, sometimes it may be a good day, and sometimes you do have those games where you say, look, I had, 14 targets, 13 catches, and that one was way behind me, and I couldn't do nothing about that.
Right.
But every time I caught the ball, I got busy, and I made the dude tackle. I didn't get tackled. I made his ass tackle me. You know what I'm saying? So it's days like that, but if you're really thinking about the game the right way, and if you're hard enough on yourself, you should have a lot of moments where you say, I left something out there, one way or the other.
When I look at the talented receiver pool that we have now, it's as good as far as depth-wise, as we've had at any point in time. I look at yourself, Justin Jefferson, Reek, Diggs, AJ, CD, Chase, St. Brown, Cup, Davante, DK, Debo, McLaurin, Jalen Waddle, Keenan Allen, Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
When people talk about receivers, Davante Adams is still in that list. Are you as high as you want to be? Or when you evaluate, when the people start talking about receivers, you like, hey, 17 still here now.
Well, this is the reality, man. And it's funny because I was just talking to my cousin about this. This league is and when I say the league, I mean the NFL culture. So the fans, some of the players, they want to crown a new king
every year.
You know what I'm saying? And the reality is, they haven't been able to do that for a real long time.
Right.
And so as soon as you see a little chink in the armor, as far as, I come to the Raiders and we're not able to keep it rolling and go to NFC Championship after NFC Championship like how I did in Green Bay with Aaron, and we had what we had there, and then they want to compare it and this and that. But I say, look, man, if you watch the tape, I'm not a different player whatsoever. I believe I'm still getting better. So sometimes the circumstance doesn't allow you to express that totally. And I truly believe, and that's why I say I'm not gonna hate on you for hating on me, because if you want to say you're the best, you got to play like the best.
Right.
You can't just say that. So at the end of the
But
day,
you got to do it over a period of time. Now, you
gotta
just
do
can't
it.
have one good year,
You
a couple
can't.
of good games.
Correct. But the good part about it and why I love this league is that now you are getting some dudes, that's some young dudes coming in going crazy like JJ and doing it consistently where, you know, his first year we say, all right, bro, you're a rookie, like whatever. Like, sure, you balled out and it looked good, but we'll see. Second year, it's like, all right, he coming around, we gonna see. And then third year, he do it again. You like, all right, man. Hey, all right. He might be the real deal. So we do got some dudes that's like that.
Yeah.
Chase and you know, Puka is another one that came on the scene, and we're gonna see what he continue to do. And I believe that it's gonna continue to happen. So I'm always rooting for these guys. I never sit here and watch and be like, drop that. Like I want to see you do it, because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not judging how my season went based off how you played. I'm judging it off what I did.
Right.
That's just like if you come in and, you know, if everybody just competing and like what they think the NFL is, like I'm sitting here, I'm gonna line up and I ain't gonna tell the young buck to call. Like, that's hurting me.
Right.
I need him to know the call. I need him to know what to do, because I want him to ball out. That way it's gonna make it easier on me.
Right.
You know, and it may not make it easier on me when somebody on another team does, but as a fan of the sport and the wide out position, I still love. That's why I watch the games. I want to see those big plays. I want to see all my favorite wideouts going ball out, and I know I'm gonna do the same. So, you know, hopefully we all just keep battling at the top. I don't want it to be where I got, you know, 1,900 yards and then everybody else sitting at 11. Like I wanted to, you know, I wanted.
You want to be pushed.
I want to be pushed. I want to continue to have my peers and the guys that I see and I get to work with and I'm cheering for. I want to see them going ball, and then that makes me say, okay, well then now I got to go do, you know, even better than that year after year. And I've done that, and I think some guys haven't gotten to that point where they've solidified that. But like I say, they just want to crown somebody else. So. Not that certain people are not worthy of high praise, but like you said, I'm still here.
You were in Green Bay for 8 years. You had Aaron Rodgers, a generational talent. 4 times he was an MVP, and we know what he represents. How hard was it for you to leave that? Because the likelihood of you going somewhere and finding that elsewhere is not, especially the relationship that you guys have built. This is over a period of time. Y'all didn't develop this over 1 year or 2 training camps. This is year after year, after conversation, game after game. How hard was it for you to leave Green Bay and go to another situation, even though you was joining your ex-college teammate?
It was difficult, man, and honestly, I could be real and tell you that I knew it was gonna be hard, but it was a lot harder than what I even imagined, because, you know, it kind of felt like everybody had been in a situation where you got your girlfriend, whether it's middle school, high school, college, whatever, and you know it's not a good. This ain't what it need to be, and that wasn't based off our relationship. That's not what I'm equating it to. I'm saying more of the picture of the Green Bay situation at that time, and I felt like that wasn't necessarily what was best for me at that moment, especially with Aaron's, you know, his future in Green Bay kind of being up in the air the way it was, and him ultimately leaving. I didn't want to be there, and you know, in hindsight, obviously Jordan Love balling out, and you know, it would have been great to do that. But I'm the type of guy, once I make a decision, I live with it. You know, I drive yourself crazy. You sit here and be worried about, did I do that? Oh, I wish I would have did this and did that. Like, you can't live life like that, man. Ain't no rewind button, so you got to make decisions and live with it. But it was definitely difficult, man. It's, you know, there's a dear friend of mine that it's tough to just not even be able to see somebody that you're used to seeing for 8 years every day. You know, having that go to where you can only see each other every few times in the off season, it's just not the same. So it was hard, but it was something that needed to happen just based off the situation, and, you know, still here trying to make the best of it. But anytime you go from, you know, having the best quarterback ever throwing you the ball to any type of change, it's going to be an adjustment. So wasn't easy, but we still managing.
You watch Jordan Love every day in practice. I think he played 1 game with you, if I'm not mistaken. I think that the Kansas City, he played that game. Aaron didn't play.
Right.
You kind of watched it. Had you known what you know now, you like, because he balled out.
Did
you see this? Did you see this?
Look, I would say based off of the potential, you know, I don't like using that word because I feel like that's a high school word.
Yeah.
You talk about potential.
Potential just mean you ain't done nothing yet.
Correct, exactly. So based off what I've seen, you know, he had the potential to do what he's doing, but there was nothing till you see somebody in live bullets with real snaps. It's hard to really determine if somebody got that, you know, that it factor, which he's shown at this point that he has.
Okay.
we talked about the consistency. He hasn't been able to show that consistently. But when you look at the play style and just that boy be cool as the other side of the pillow out there too. And that's one thing that people don't be giving him enough credit for. I mean, the release points, a lot of these throws he's making.
He reminds you of Aaron. I mean, I saw him throwing the ball.
Hey,
and that was the thing that I saw when he played Philly.
Yeah.
I say, man, when he came in, I say, dude,
He wasn't just sitting back there playing around. I'll tell you that. One thing I will say, I don't think that, based off of Aaron being a guy in Green Bay, they don't always try to get the guy behind him all the way right. Because then it's some issues of, well, now
you speeding the process up and getting me up out the door.
That type of deal, right? So you know what I'm saying? So I kind of felt like I didn't get to really see it because he wasn't being showcased or really like coach like that, because when you in season, you got to worry about the guy that's playing. So, you obviously going through your drills and all of that, but it's more getting you ready for the game that's about to be played. So being in Green Bay, having him, just throwing jump balls to, the one-on-one practice squad versus Jair, and seeing Jair go up and pick it off, like seeing that doesn't let you know for sure this guy's going to be a baller.
Right.
But being a scout team quarterback, that's some of the things that you got to do. And then he just took advantage of the opportunity as soon as he got it, which is, now it's his.
You're making the decision. Obviously, it's going to come down because you got your pick of where you want to go. For the most part, everybody's not going to be able to afford your salary. So it comes down to the Raiders. Obviously, Derek Carr, you played with him in college, so there's a relationship, although you hadn't played in a number of years.
Yeah.
How instrumental was he for you coming to the Raiders and then to see all of a sudden after a year, it's gone?
Well, he played a huge part in that, man. I grew up a Raiders fan, being from the Bay, and my whole family being Raiders fans. So in a sense, it was kind of written. But at the same time, I don't know if I would have made the move had it not been him, under center when I got there. And then I talked about, obviously, when they got rid of him, I was not happy about that at all. But just based off the business and knowing how, at that point I was going into year 10, once they got rid of him. So I'm thinking about it and I'm like, man, this ain't the first, and it definitely ain't gonna be the last person that, means a lot to me and my career that I'm not gonna be able to be around. So you gotta roll with the punches and figure it out. And I'm not really in the business of jumping around, trying to skate around the states, trying to find a home, So I'm just we got a great team and great potential to be a great team. So really, for me, it was easy to say I'm gonna stick here and try to figure this out with these guys, and going to work with guys like Max Crosby, and having these type of dudes. That it was a different level of competition when I came to the Raiders. The Packers, we won all these games, and 13 games, three times in a row under Matt LaFleur, but it was just a different type of feeling. When I walked into that Raiders and went into that first OTA practice, it was a different level of competition that I never really felt in the league yet. And it made me feel a way about this team, and I kind of was locked in from that point.
Right. Had you known, and it's easy to say now, say, hell no, I wouldn't have come, but had you known what you known, but could you see the writing on the wall? Because a lot from the outside, a lot of people were like, man, Gruden really ain't really embraced old boy. He always talking about everybody else quarterback, but damn, you can't keep saying somebody else girl beautiful when you got a girl sitting right next to you. And it seemed like he kept saying somebody else girl was more beautiful than the one he had.
Yeah, they had a interesting relationship to say the least. And I know he was on board with him, and he loved Gru, and Gru loved me too. And that was another reason why I was real fired up about potentially being a Raider, was that I knew that he had strong feelings about me as a player. So and then once he left, that was like the first piece of it where I was like, now are they even gonna want me? Because I am who I am, but that don't mean that every GM is like, he's worth this, investment. And like we said, obviously, it's no secret that it's going to be you have to dig pretty deep in them pockets to make that work. So just being unsure about how he felt about that, I didn't know if Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler were going to come in and decide, we want to invest this money in this guy. And then when it worked out, it seemed like it was meant to be. And unfortunately, we weren't able to take advantage of it the way, in a really weird season too, because we lost I want to say basically all those games that year, other than one, by like less than 6 points.
Yeah,
you know,
they were like one-score games, and it normally came down to the last possession.
Right, which
one way or another.
Exactly, which equates to not being a great team because you're not finishing it. But when you look at it, like we wasn't no team that people was like, we about to come in here and roll over these boys. Like we just wasn't figuring it out and finishing the games the way we needed to. So we had the chance to do it. So based off what I had seen, even losing those games my first year, it gave me a good feeling about moving forward with this squad, just provided we could fill in a few gaps to make this team really be the team we're supposed to be.
You see all the success that Josh McDaniels has as the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
And then you was like, man, he got a great mind. I see the way what he does with Welker. I saw what he did with Moss. I saw what he did with Gronk and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And you was like, man, what is it about him that for whatever reason, obviously take Tom Brady out, but still schematically you should be able to scheme things and make things happen.
Right.
What is it about him? Because he's been at a couple of locations that wasn't New England, and it went horrible.
Yeah. This is what I would say, and I actually had this conversation with him during the season that first year, because we had some things going where dudes was messing up assignments. They didn't really seem all the way locked in like how they were supposed to. So I went and sat in there with him, and it would just coincidentally have to be after a game where I had like 2 catches or something like that. So I go in his office, and it's the first time, as soon as I walk in there, I know, Tay, getting ready, like starting off, like I know we got to get you the ball, this and that. I said, that's not even what I'm in here for. I want to have like a real man-to-man talk with you. And what I basically told him was like, I think we don't need to change our standard because you and I are both used to winning games. And we were aligned on a lot of stuff. We were talking, I was actually a big advocate for him, just because I felt like maybe the way the offense went didn't work great with us, but what he believed in, I truly believed in as well. And he was old school, and I always had old school coaches. So him being hard on us in practice and stuff like that never bothered me because I know what it is that he's trying to get out of us.
Right.
So
greatness.
Yeah, exactly, and that's all that it was. So I go in there and I say we shouldn't change our standard, but I think you and I, just to save our mental, we might have to change our expectation a little bit, because here's the reality. You've had success in this offense in many, many years. Super Bowl, I think he won 6 Super Bowls. But the only difference is every single human being that walked through those doors and was sitting on the other side of him in those team meetings, they had a hand in every soul that was in there. So when you picking and you got this super complex, slides and all these things for this O-line, you getting these Harvard grads and all these dudes that could really process this.
Right.
We got dudes that grew in Mayock and them brought in, and good talent, but these dudes are not the same. They may not be as intellectual. They may not be as disciplined as what you would have chose yourself. So that's like you walking into a room and coaching up a bunch of kids versus your own AAU team,
right?
And you expecting that they're gonna do the exact same thing. You don't know these kids like that. You haven't been able to really put your blessing on them, put your hand on them and shape them to be the type of player or person that you want them to be, as it pertains to the football game. So when you come out here, we should still keep the same standard as how hard we push them, but maybe let's ease up a little bit as far as the frustration and leaving out of every practice so pissed off that there was a few mental errors when you're not realizing that these ain't dudes that got PhDs like some of the guys you had, and just even fit that system the way that, so we got guys that may be better in the system that we have now. And I've been in multiple systems, so I've seen it. So I just basically had to tell them, I said, look, you've had a lot of success, but I think maybe we should start gearing to understand that these dudes are a little bit different and find out the best way to coach them up, best way to run this offense. That way it'll work best versus trying to shove these guys into this mold that you want to have us fit into, because the ultimate name of the game is win the game. It's not win a certain type of way.
Yeah.
So I think what's most important when you're a coach is shaping it around who you
got to
got.
adapt.
You got
because a lot of times, to your point, a lot of times what coaches do, and the really good coaches can do it. They'll fit their system around the players that they have.
Correct.
And they don't say, you fit my system.
Right.
And I think he had a system at New England. This is the way it was. Coach Belichick says, this is it.
Yeah.
And they drafted guys accordingly.
Correct.
But when you go elsewhere, you've got to, all of a sudden, you ain't got Tom, you ain't got Gronk, you don't have this, you don't have that. Well, you got to fit a system to the talent level that you have.
Correct.
And if you don't, you're going to be frustrated, and then guys are going to start being frustrated with you because you're going to MF them so much, they're just going to shut you out.
And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly it. So you completely understand how that goes, and that's how I feel genuinely. Like, if you come in and you're trying to make something work, it shouldn't just be about what it is that you believe in, because you should believe in winning.
Right.
And you're used to that.
Right.
And it's worked in the past. So I get to a certain extent that he, in his mind, he probably puzzled, because he like, I've been with all these dudes and we got all these guys, but once you got to sit somebody down sometime and say, think about this part of it like this.
Right.
You didn't, these are not all you didn't draft these guys.
Right.
So even if you have a little bit of time with them, like, you got to work with them differently. Even if I'm running a team, I'm not going to sit here and coach every guy the same way.
Correct.
You know, you got to coach them however.
Nope.
If one of my best players is going to sit there and cry as soon as I raise my voice at him, it may be unfortunate. I may be in my office like, man, this boy's soft, but I'm gonna do what I got to do so we make it work.
Yes.
You know, especially when it's some of your guys.
Right.
You know, you got to do what you got to do to get that end result you want.
I think Andy Reid is a great example of that. You look at the way Andy Reid coached when he had Alex Smith. You look at the way he coached Patrick Mahomes. You look at the way he coached Donovan McNabb.
Yep.
Each situation was different based on the player he had at quarterback, based on the players that he had around him.
Correct.
And the really good coaches can adapt.
Yep.
And not say, man, this is my system. Mm-hmm. Your system ain't worth a hill of beans if them guys can't run it.
Hey, and it can't be that good we got good players.
Yeah.
So it ain't like we lacking talent, or you done went to a D3 from the U.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we talking about high level athletes, and you look at that offense that we had, and for it to not work, you know, for on different levels, whereas it was, you know, the receivers wasn't getting it done enough for them, or the tight ends wasn't figuring out the blocking assignments or whatever it is. Sometimes you got to do a little self-scout and figure out what it is and what's leading to that.
What can I do different?
Correct.
Forget what the calendar says. Football season is right around the corner, and that means Best Ball Week at DraftKings isn't far behind. Here's what you need to know. DraftKings Best Ball Millionaire Contest is the biggest fantasy contest ever. We're talking $15 million in guaranteed prize pool with two millionaires crowned for the first and second place. If you're a set it and forget it type, then Best Ball is for you. No waiver wires, no roster management, bigger rosters so injuries won't end your season. Only the draft, and that's it. You're set for the season. Still not convinced? Check this out. This year, DraftKings is offering everyone draft one, get one special. Your $20 entry fee scores bonus ticket. Get ready for Best Ball Week at DraftKings. Download the DraftKings app. Use code Shannon. That's code Shannon for all customers who enter the Best Ball 15 Millionaire Contest to get bonus ticket. Only the Best Ball Week, only at DraftKings. Did it make you, because it made me upset, and I'm going to see what you think about this, and I'll give you my point of view. When you left Aaron, people automatically assume, man, he ain't finna put up them numbers. Man, come on, man. Who y'all kidding? Y'all know who it was.
Right.
And so now you feel like, bro, yes, I appreciate Aaron. We know he's a generational talent. Yeah, we know he's transcendent.
Correct.
But bro, I'm on the other end of this now.
Yeah. That's the curse, and I talked to Aaron about this multiple times too. We joke about it, and I'm like, that's the curse of being with a player that's that, like, it's much more of a gift, because you're gonna be able to, you know,
he can read you. He knows what you're thinking. You know what he's thinking.
And he gonna make you so much of a better player just by being around too. Like you didn't have those times where you had OTAs and then there's a day where you're not there or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like and I've heard this from, you know, some of our guys with the Raiders now, when days where I wasn't there, like days that Aaron was present, the way that team was flying around and looked out there, versus the days that he was in the training room during the, you know, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys still working. It ain't like they out there telling jokes and just like walking in between, but it's a different level of intensity.
It is.
Execution and all of that. So not even just his ability to throw the ball, but just his presence brings a different type of, it gets it out of you.
Yeah.
Essentially, kind of, I would equate it to how a coach like AP coming in, you look at that next week after we, you know, did what we did in Detroit, and then we come back and then we did what we did to the Giants. And you can say whatever you want about the Giants. They're still an NFL team. We went in there and certain guys that maybe weren't playing the way that they should, 1 week later looked like different players. And that's because of the presence of a human being and what they can do to maximize what you have in you. Maybe you don't even need new personnel. Sometimes you need somebody else to come in and make Shannon go a little bit harder. And then now that player is the player that you wanted to go get at the same price.
Right. The thing was, well, like, me playing with John is that what I took for granted, and I knew he was a great player. He had been to Super Bowls. He had been an MVP. Is that what you take for granted is that the ball placement. Like if he put the ball between the 8 and the 4, he's telling me, Shannon, get up in your shadow. Yep. There's danger on the left or the right. So if you go left, you're going to get your clock clean. You go right. If he puts it in front of me, he's telling me I can continue to run. If he put it on my back shoulder, he's telling me, I'm stopping you from a headache. You take things like that for granted because he's been doing like, oh, everybody gonna be doing it like this. And the moment you, bam, like, bro, you didn't see that guy?
That's the thing, and honestly, the placement is one piece of it, but the even more important is the timing aspect of it. You know, like having a dude like Aaron, I was able to get away with some things that maybe wouldn't be able to work with another quarterback. Like we have a stop route or a Puma is what we called it in Green Bay, where it's a 15 yards, basically a comeback, but you turn it back inside. It's almost like a curl, but you coming back down your stem. That route was run at 9 yards. That route was run at 10 yards. That route was run at 15 to 17 yards, just based off what I needed to do. And having a dude like that pulling the trigger, having the ability to just whip that ball over there, not sit here and just look me down the whole way, but fill it out, hold the safety, and just feel my body language. Know that based off where guys are, that this is typically when he takes us a little bit deeper, and not sitting there like it wasn't a whole lot of times he doing this and I'm not ready, or vice versa. So having those reps together, obviously that happened over time, but even the timing of a simple route off coverage, we got a dagger concept and I'm running an in route, just knowing when to release that ball to where. Now, like I've had a couple instances this past year where I'll come down the middle and the ball is where it needs to be, but it wasn't thrown when it was supposed to be thrown. So now that headache we talking about, I'm sitting there trying to convince these people in the tent that I'm okay. When it shouldn't even happen, because that could have been a catch and run. So that's the part where I talk about where you talk about the people saying, oh, he done had a year that we accustomed seeing him have, and they got spoiled over the years too, because they seen 1,500 a few times and almost 20 touchdowns in 2020. Like they see this, so now they think that that's the standard, which it is, but they got to.
That's hard though, bro.
It's not easy to do. It's hard to score one touchdown in this league, but to get almost 100 in my career, that don't happen on accident. So when people talk about a regression and this and that, I'm saying you're just not watching the tape, because if you would have known anything about ball, you would have known that, in that game I just played that I had 71 yards. If I would have got the ball a little quicker on that dig, that would have been another 60. Because if you look at 2 weeks before that, I got it earlier and it was 60.
I go back to the Monday night game that you guys ended up winning. I think you kicked the last second field goal and he threw that dagger route. He threw that over route. And Fred Warner, he threw it.
You talking over the top of it, spinning pirouette.
Yes. And Fred got depth. Everything, the line, he couldn't play it no perfect.
Couldn't.
But when Aaron released it, and when you came out of that break, the perfect throw will beat the perfect coverage
every time. And that's one of them ones that the saying when you breaking up with your girl and you say it's not you, it's me. That's what you got to say to Fred in that moment.
It's not you, bro.
No, hell of a job. It ain't. Don't worry about it. It ain't on you. It's us. And I had the easy job there, just going up and grabbing it, putting that ball over the top of him when Fred is probably the most athletic linebacker in the NFL. I mean, you definitely miss those type of drives and those type of catches alone.
No one is better to ask than you. What do Shannon Sharpe, and the national media get wrong about Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I think. See, when you're a person, and me and Aaron are a lot alike in this, when you are a person that's secure enough to not have to worry about clearing stuff up, like Aaron's not, you don't see him going on TV and on social media trying to deny any of the stuff that people saying. Like, when you so solid with yourself, sometimes it leads to people, that's like your girl come and say, are you cheating on me? And you just go, she gonna be like, oh, he must be cheating on me.
Yeah.
When in your head you like, I'm not worried about you. I'm all about you. I ain't tripping off nobody but you.
That don't even deserve a response.
I'm not even gonna give that no attention. So I think sometimes his approach with that is, he's a private person, and with a lot of his life being put in the light like that, it's tough to. And we all got our things too. We all got, different situations that are hard to explain unless you truly know what's going on. And the good thing for me and why I love him so much is that he's a dear friend of mine. So I do know a lot about the details of, the things behind of what people say and what's led to, why people get that perception.
Right.
But what I love about him is that he's not concerned with sitting here trying to, change that and change it in your mind. If you feel a way, then that's just how you're gonna feel.
Right.
And if that hurts you, it shouldn't, because it has nothing to do with you. And more people should approach it that way. And honestly, mind their business as it pertains to his personal life, because what the man doing with his vaccinations or non-vaccinations, immunizations and capitalization, whatever it is, that ain't changing nobody's life but his.
Right.
So at the end of the day, like, people would ask me, like, how do you come to Aaron? What do you say to him in a situation where he's in the media and y'all are in there trying to focus we like, man, we go in there and lab just like we do every other day. That man is a grown man. If he need to speak to me about anything, he know I'm here. I'm not getting in his business, just like I don't want anybody else to get in it. But, there's pieces, obviously some things come out, here and there and people gonna speculate, but I just love that he's secure enough to be himself, and the people that truly know him understand him a lot better than what's being, put on the outside. And I'm just glad I'm not that level of celebrity where I gotta deal with it all.
Everything gets parsed and picked apart.
90% of what people talk about, they don't know about. So, he just try to keep it moving, and we all do the same with him.
In your 2 years with the Raiders, you've gone 14-20, haven't made the playoffs. Derek Carr, Jared Stidham, Jimmy G, Brian Hoyer, Aiden O'Connell. Now it seems like Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew going to be fighting for the starting quarterback. Do you have the pieces at that position? Because it doesn't matter. You can go out there and you can run the best routes in the world. You can run the end cut, the dig, the dagger, the shake, all that.
Right.
Good.
Right.
But, man, you see Davante run that route, had him on skates. But if that ball sails out of bounds, eventually Tay gonna get frustrated.
Right.
Cause, bro, I'm putting in this work, I'm getting open, I'm winning, and I ain't gonna get no looks.
Yeah, man, it's always a tough conversation, because when you talk about having the for sure answer, we don't know, because we haven't seen Gardner in a Raider uniform. We've seen him make some plays, and we've seen it to a certain extent.
Jacksonville, Indy.
Exactly. He's definitely been out there and had some experience. Aiden, on the other hand, hasn't had near as much experience. He had to pick up, in an offense that's fit for a Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. It's an offense that you have to have an extremely high level execution to be able to make it work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dink and dunk. It wasn't a lot of, it wasn't a million shots down the field.
Right.
I had much longer touchdowns in that offense, but it was honestly as a result of us figuring out on the fly. Like we said, trying to adjust and make it work. It was a lot of that. So when you got a guy, and me and Aiden talked about it at the end of last year, because I think we were in a hot tub and somebody asked him, like, what do you think about this offense? And he said himself, this offense just requires a really high level execution. You got to be able to really sustain a drive.
Right.
Like, you don't get, just because you went, you capitalize on fourth down twice, you don't get 5 downs on the next one. You still got to move. So if you only done got 20 yards with 2 first downs,
right,
that's a lot of work you still got to do to get down there, especially if, the ball get nailed in the end zone. You starting way back there.
Right.
You can still get 3 first downs and punt the ball.
Right.
So, it's not, in a lot of offenses in these, especially today, these offenses explosive, man. You get 3 first downs, your ass done scored, basically. So, it's tough to do. You got to pick up in the middle of that as a young buck, and then you come in, the game that Jimmy gets hurt, he got to jump in and play against the Chargers, get sacked 6 times by the same freaking person. Like that's not easy, and
right,
he kind of got thrown into the fire a little bit. So I do believe in Aiden, and I think he's gonna be able to feel a lot more comfortable. He looked pretty good in OTAs, and we're just going to continue to grow and learn from each other. And I've always been a big advocate for him, because when he first came in real confident, balling in the OTA period and in preseason, and showed everybody what he has the potential to do. So we just got to keep working, just like with me and Aaron. If you were trying to count your chickens before they hatch with me, then you wouldn't have had no eggs. Because my first 2 years wasn't exciting nobody to think that it was going to.
That you were going to turn out to what you turned out.
Exactly. So, I'm the main person sitting there saying, everybody relax. You gotta give time for the flower to grow. We watering it right now, and we're gonna ultimately see what happens with it. But it's hard to say for sure like we gonna win a Super Bowl right now, but we got a lot of work to put in still, and I think we got a good chance to get a lot better.
So you would say that the offense under Josh, it required a lot of patience and a lot of precision.
Correct.
Because, hey, if you miss, but you got to be able to come back and do it over and over and over and over again. And a lot of times you're doing that without taking shots.
Exactly. And this game is about, and that's a lot of snaps too.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, when you got your team on the field for almost 80 plays, you're gonna be out there with a lot of folks and maybe hurt folks.
Right.
Now, if you can get out there and get some explosives and your defense is out there and getting the ball back to you, putting it in it, then now that's less plays. You stretching the field. The morale of the team is different because now you done got more confidence. Getting a first down, on fourth down is cool, and that can give you confidence. You want to have that in your bag of being able to, but you ain't trying to go down there scoring on. You ain't gonna make a whole lot of living
fourth down. This team goes for it the most on fourth down and all of
No.
That's gonna get you in trouble. That's gonna bite you in the butt eventually.
In Philly, that worked because they doing it different over there with the way they do it. But when it's 4th and 3 and you done ran the ball 3rd and 6 to get it shorter to do it like that, like that's just not the type of ball I believe in. I believe in being aggressive, especially when you had the personnel to do so.
I'm looking at you guys had some issues. The Raiders, man. I remember Al, I don't care what you guys, Al Davis, who's the owner of the Raiders, his philosophy was just win, baby. Mm-hmm. So he didn't really care about the off-field stuff, but this is a new age, this is a new time, Davante. Yeah. And you guys had some issues that kind of maybe, I don't know how much that impacted what you did on the field, but it can't be easy dealing with some of the things that you had to deal with that wasn't football related.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's never gonna make it easier anytime you got any type of distractions on the outside. So we try to limit that. And the other reality is if it's player related, coach related, whatever it is, like you want to ultimately, if people can't, like nobody's perfect, so things are gonna happen every so often, but you got to look at the type of things that's happening, obviously, and if people don't fit that mold and they start to create too many distractions and hold the team back from, realizing their full potential, then you got to do what you got to do, man. Right. Like this thing gonna keep rolling regardless. So, and that's the mindset that I got too. Like, I got plenty of friends, and I love continuing to grow bonds. And I feel like, you hear about, the guys like you that played and not in it no more. I feel like the main thing I always hear is that what I miss most is that connection and that locker room feel. Playing the games. A lot of dudes that have played for a long time, they say, I don't miss playing. No. I'm good on that. But that camaraderie, being together every day is just that's a whole different thing. So I got plenty of friends, like I said. So if you don't fit the mold and you don't bring the same type of attention and intention when you come in to the facility, practice the game every single time you come out there, and you out here doing this and that, and you can't stay focused, well then. And that's how I would do it if I was the coach, And like I said, it ain't a one-shot deal and you out. But if it's to a point where you are consistent distraction and you ain't bringing enough positive and it's the bad is outweighing the good, then you serve no purpose here.
Yeah. So it's funny that you said that. Is that, do you feel like sometimes like the Raiders, because of the Raiders, kind of like, if I was born a pirate, I think my job is to naturally pillage and loot. And so if you get drafted to the Raiders, it's almost like I'm supposed to be a bad boy. I'm supposed to be bad. I'm supposed to get in trouble. As long as I knock hell out of people on the field, I catch a few touchdowns.
That may be. I never really thought about it like that, but like you said, you grow up in that, or you get brought into that culture. The thing is, I think that's kind of the older thing. I don't know if that's the Raider culture as much. It's definitely that hard-nosed, tough. You want people to fear you coming in. Right. You don't want them to fear that you about to shoot them or rob them. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. So we can't be getting too out of control with it. But we try to definitely have that same type of mentality. That's what he said. I mean, we watch videos throughout the year. Little hype videos they put together for you week in and week out, and we get to see some of the stuff that Jack Tatum and the boys was doing.
Man,
and Al,
you going to jail for that even on the field today.
I'm telling you, John Madden too. Them boys saying, yeah, we the Raiders. Yeah, we gonna punch you in the mouth. What you gonna do about it? And we want you to worry about that. Right. We don't want you to worry about, this man about to get a DUI tonight. Right. You know what I mean? So hopefully we can stay away from that type of stuff and just keep it about the hard nose.
You said something very interesting. You said, okay, guys, you're doing things and maybe getting penalties here or there. And this is what I always tell guys. Okay, it's called production and tolerance. And as long as production is up here, Tolerance could be right here with it.
I'm telling you.
But tolerance is never going to get higher than production.
Never.
So you got to make a choice.
Yeah.
If you want to be on the team, as long as production and tolerance, as long as production is here, tolerance could be here.
100%. It got to be. But once it get there, then, it's going to be tough finding a home. And then the other hard part about it is now these coaches talking. So they're going to say, well, you got rid of him. What was the situation? Well, he was a knucklehead. And then you don't want that following you around in the league.
And then people get mad, talk about, well, man, he blackballed me. Bro.
Yeah, when they bring the politics and all that into it, it's like, man, are you being real? What did you do?
Yeah,
that's what I need to know. What did your ass do that led to you getting kicked off the team? Because especially the guys that's good players, like 3 teams. I'm telling you,
okay. One time you're like, you know what, we had a disagreement. Yeah. He saw it one way, I saw it a different way.
Right.
Okay, that happens. Yeah. Just like a job.
Yeah.
We can be on the job, me and the boss, me and the supervisor, we didn't get along, we butt heads. Right. I go somewhere, never have that problem again.
Right.
But if I go somewhere, leave that job. Oh, it was the boss. I go to another place. It was the boss. I go to another job. It's the boss. And the only common denominator, I got 3 different bosses, and I'm the only common denominator. Somebody add up, Jay.
Yeah. And that's the person that when I see that, and then I see in the media that, round 3, they're still on the same thing, that let me know a lot of what I need to know. And then I say, I move accordingly from there, but you make a little mental note about certain people that got that following them around everywhere.
Yeah, at some point in time, you got to stop being a victim in a situation you created.
Correct.
So, Tom Brady, Brady, how old is Brady? Brady's probably...
Yes.
Oh, God damn! You ain't let me answer the question. You ain't let me finish the question, Tay.
I know exactly. Hey, I knew it when you said Tom Brady. I knew what you said. Let me see what he gonna say. And then you got to talk about old he is. I don't care. I don't care.
You would take Tom in 47, 48?
58 right now. Hey, nah, Tom know about how I feel about him, man. And the other part is I think I'll be the first person that played with Tom and Aaron. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he getting older, but I mean, he got to still be able to throw it better than half these dudes in the league.
He
at
can
this
spin
point,
it.
So.
But you better be able to protect him because he ain't gonna be able to take them hits better.
And he ain't going nowhere either. He's gonna sit right there in that pocket. So you better have a nice, secure little home for him in there. That's for sure.
So what about these internet about you reuniting with Aaron? Is that something you would be open to, amenable to if this had happened this offseason? If the Jets offered a package big enough to satisfy the Raiders' need and you be reunited with Aaron, would that have been something you'd have been open to?
Well, I'll answer it like this. If I'm going to be reunited with anybody, it would be Aaron.
Okay.
But or be, relocated and be anywhere, it would be with Aaron. But that's not really my... there's a lot of that stuff going on last year in the media and them asking, well, what are you going to do about this? Are you thinking about going here? And they talk about whatever without me even being involved in it. And it ended up getting all the way to the point where it got in the locker room and people was thinking that it was, I was the driving force. And I'm like, y'all just don't understand, man. Like, when I hate to say it like this because it makes me sound like I'm trying to put myself on a pedestal, but when you're a certain level of player, it don't have to come from you, and it most oftentimes is not coming from you. And I'm not the type of person that I enjoy going and putting that type of stuff out there when I'm actively on the Raiders.
Right.
What do I look like sitting here talking to other people about being on another team?
Right.
And that's how I still feel about it right now. Like, I'm locked in with the Raiders, and I really feel good about this team. As far as I know, they feel good about me. And if that ever changed, if that got to a point where they weren't feeling the same way, I ain't done playing. So obviously we would figure out whatever we needed to figure out. But in the thought of playing with Aaron is obviously amazing. Like, I already know what that's like, which was similar to why I came here and reunited with Derek was because I have familiarity with it, and anytime you have that, it gives you a little bit more confidence than starting fresh with somebody that you never played with before. Right. And it helps that when they're the best to ever play the game, or at least that's how I feel. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's certainly how I feel.
Yes, he's clearly one of the best.
And he's given me an opportunity to show the world what I can do, and having him to start out with, I'm sure, that what we was talking about earlier about, people say, did Aaron create you or this and that? No, but naturally, if you have a player that's a generational talent,
definitely help elevate you.
Exactly. And you looked at the next year when I wasn't there with him, it didn't look the same.
Right.
So if you got a tandem, anytime that you got somebody with some talent, they're gonna make each other better. So
Correct.
I'm not afraid to say that he definitely made me better, but he definitely didn't correct me. You see, it was the same numbers the very next year in Vegas. So obviously I didn't quote unquote need him, but it makes life a hell of a lot easier, that's for sure.
Given the level of player that you are, given the level of player that Aaron is, given what you had with the Smith brothers, and that team, did you guys underachieve in Green Bay?
I believe so. I believe we did. I think anytime you have that level and consistently can dominate the way that we did, and then just find a way to not do it when you really, really need to, I think you can say that. I wouldn't consider it a failure. I know people like to use that. So the way you said it, I would agree with more that way. It was definitely a underachievement because we didn't maximize it. We were the best team in football for a few years, and I truly believe that. And we weren't able to hoist that trophy, not even once. I didn't even get to play in the game. So, you know, anytime you could say that your personnel and the system, everything was great, and then you don't have nothing to show for it, you know, I feel like if you're being real enough with yourself, you can comfortably say, yeah, we didn't achieve what we were supposed to.
Does it keep you up at night knowing what you had? You look at Jair, you look at Preston and Zadarius, you look at yourself, you look at Aaron, you look at what you guys had.
Right.
You guys had not only just like good players, you guys had Pro Bowl, all pro level players.
All over the field.
For a good let's just say for a good 4-year period. Mm-hmm. You guys had as good a talent as anybody.
Right.
And for you guys not to have, not even forget win the Super Bowl, to even play in that game, does that keep Tay awake at night knowing what could have been, what should have been?
It used to. It definitely used to. I think once I came to the Raiders, that was another reason why, is that being in 4 or 5 NFC championship games in 8 years, and 2 of those years we didn't go to the playoffs. So almost every year we went to the playoffs, we went deep in the playoffs and just didn't get to the dance. So, you know, it used to hurt me a lot. And that's a big reason. I was like, it kind of felt like that situation where, you know, whether it's a friend or somebody, you know, a family member, whatever, you know it's bad, but you like, you know, it may not work with the next one, but it's worth at least moving on from this.
Right.
You know, like, winning those games, it almost made it hurt a little bit more, like, versus just being I was hurt more after those Packer ones than I was, you know, last year not going, because you didn't even, like, we didn't show that we were a team that should have been there. You know what I mean? But
after about week 10 or 11, Tay, you're like, we're not going to the playoff.
Yeah.
But in Green Bay, you're like, hold on, we got the MVP. I'm an all-pro. We got 5, 6, 7, 8 Pro Bowlers.
Yeah, first round bye 3 times.
And they got to come through Lambeau.
And got our ass whooped in Lambeau by the most West Coast team that it was. So I don't think that the Packers can ever use that got to come. But we was practicing. I'm talking about I think it was -1 in that game that we played in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you know, and we came out firing too. The first drive, I think I had like 5 catches.
Oh yeah, the 49ers game, that night game. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking, oh,
you cooking. He's like, oh, we got this one.
And I'm feeling good because mind you, somehow. For 8 years in Green Bay, every single time throughout the week, it was always colder. And then in the game, it'd be cold as hell, but it was like...
It wasn't cold like during the week.
We had -20 in practice outside. And people think that we just out there like just labbing, just, you know, indoor or whatever. We stretch in there, get a little sweat, come out and then hit it running. You know, it's hard when it's cold to get loose.
Right.
So we start inside, and then when practice start, right outside. Right. And we out there labbing, and I'm out there in that. So... come game time, I done got the adrenaline, the game time feel, and it's not as cold as it was. So I'm flying around thinking it's gonna be one of them games. And lo and behold, we come up short after being ahead the entire game once again. Now we in the same situation and end up missing the NFC Championship game my last year. And I think that one was essentially the straw that broke the camel's back.
Did that hurt more than the Tampa loss? Because Tampa I just knew you guys had that. I shoved all my chips in.
Yeah.
Tay. I shoved all my chips. I say, this is the year right here.
Yeah.
I say, I know Tom, this is Tom's first year. They got this one.
Man, look, I say this. That I don't know which of those hurt more, but I'll say the one that hurt the most was my very first year. We talking about, I don't know how well you remember that one, the whole fumble onside kick.
Oh yeah.
To them,
Seattle?
We was up 15 points with basically no time left in the game. So we damn near doing this to the crowd. Y'all go home now. It's over with. We to the Super Bowl.
Because y'all got that last pick
And we got a pick in the middle of the field. And then I think Julius told or Morgan to slide down. We end up giving the ball back to him. They go down. They done faked the field goal, scored with a lineman. I'm like, what is going on, bro? So then that happened. I'm thinking, my rookie year, we going to Super Bowl. This is easy. This how the league is. And I ain't even barely do shit this year like that. I ain't I'm playing with 2 Pro Bowlers. Like I came in and held my own, but it wasn't no Justin Jefferson, Odell Beckham, Jamar Chase rookie year by no means. I felt good about what I was doing, and I felt like I didn't have the same pressure as those guys not being a first rounder, but. I feel like I was doing enough to feel good about it, and then, boom, just yanked it right up underneath us. So I had a real harsh introduction to the league as far as how hard it is to win in the playoffs, that first year. And then next year, we go, we doing it again, and I'm thinking we got it, and then another time. Then it keep happening later. So it just got to a point where I was like, all right, well, maybe it's just not meant to be, here. I
gave
this place everything I got. Maybe it's time to try to figure it out somewhere else.
Do you wish you had gone for it on that 4th down with Matt LaFleur? Because you guys had first and goal. You had like 3. I think you had like three cracks at like first and goal because you got a first down. Like okay.
Yeah. I do. And I don't. It's always hard for me to say that because I don't want to make it seem like I don't trust the coach or this and that. But you asking me, and I do because I ain't on defense saying whatever. Like I got something to directly do with that, and it ain't no surprise that if we did, it was probably coming to me.
Right.
So and if you tell me you got an opportunity to change this game right now, I've done that over the course of my career many times. So if you ask me in the moment, hey Davante, what should we do right now? Should we throw you this ball? You know what my answer gonna be.
Yes.
Especially at that point, we doing this too. Like that was a great year as far as the way we were rolling, Aaron and I. So, it hurt me to not have the opportunity to be a little bit more aggressive in that moment. But like I said, sometimes you make decisions or decisions are made and you got to live with them.
Josh Jacobs joins your former team, and he's trying to recruit you to come back to your former team. Yeah. Would that be something you would ever revisit? Would you revisit going back to Green Bay?
I don't look. I'd never say never, but I gave the big part about this now, and it's a piece that I know you'll understand, but I don't know if most of the world out there that watches football would understand because they look at the opportunity as we're lucky to have this. Not we are blessed and we put all this work in to do it, but we're lucky to have it. So for me, the quality of life at this point is another piece of it. Being in Green Bay, seeing that my daughters can't go outside, after Halloween damn near because of how cold it is. And
after Labor Day damn near.
Yeah, she's sitting here. I got a picture of my daughter at literally, I think it was November, like 5th. Like it's still, it ain't late like that. She's sitting there with her hand on the window, just staring outside of the play structure, looking like the saddest little girl in the world. And I'm like, this sucks, man.
Right.
And now it could be Christmas night, and they could be outside playing on the play structure out in Vegas now. So having that ability when now I done played for a long time, I've given everything that I can to this game. Being able to give something to my kids like that is another piece of it. Like I put being a dad over anything. Like I think I could play this position pretty good, but being a dad, ain't nobody better.
Wow.
So I prioritize that. My kids being in school and all this thing. I'm not one of them dudes that, if I was to get moved to another team, like it would really hurt me to have my kids be in school in Vegas and me being in another city playing a game. If I'm going 3 days somewhere, I damn near feel like I want to cry leaving my kids, especially having 2 little girls.
Yes.
Like, that's just the way that I'm wired. I really like spending time and being around my kids.
And you got a newborn on the way, little boy.
And got my boy on the way now, so
you ain't going nowhere.
That's what I'm saying. Thinking about doing all of that, like that's just a lot on my wife, which she, dropped everything. She's an esthetician and wanted to pursue her career a little bit harder and to drop it for, obviously, it's a pretty good deal for her too. She ain't losing out on too much, but but her being that unselfish and I just try to do the same for them.
Right.
And also it's a lot to enjoy for me here as well.
How much there's no secret, Davante, you wanted a contract extension for the Packers before they was willing to give you one. You come out that great season and they's like, okay, hey, Tay, we got these numbers for you. How much did that play a fact a factor in you leaving because you felt like, bro, I've been asking y'all for 2 years, and now y'all wait now, and I'm a free agent. Oh no,
that's basically how it went. Coming into that year before, I had that unanimous All Pro, and and the trend was basically ever since my first Pro Bowl, it just got better. So it wasn't gonna make it easier on them. So I'm saying, look, right now, you know the type of player that you're getting, so what are you waiting on?
Right.
And right now, I'm telling you, this was like, so obviously going into the 21 season, this is the offseason going into that where Aaron was having his stuff in the media about whether or not he was even going to be there. So I'm telling you, like, look, right now, Aaron Rodgers' future here is uncertain. I'm willing, if you do this now, early, give me this extension, like what I've earned. I'm not asking for. I'm not somebody cousin asking for no bread. I'm saying give me what I earned,
right?
Just a little bit early, which is not nothing that ain't new. This is something that happens for generational players.
Yeah,
you do that, and it can benefit the club too. So I'm trying to tell him here, and I approached the right way. I said, I won't even take into account that he may not be here. If we can do this right now, I'll be a Packer. And they said, okay, well, this is what we value right now. And they threw a number out there, and it was absolutely laughable. So for me, I told my agent, I said, we don't even need to talk about nothing else. I'm gonna be there in camp. I wasn't there in the OTA period. I showed up for the mandatory mini camp.
Because I ain't giving no money back.
No, I need all that. I ain't do no reps now. I ain't do no reps, but I was there.
You was holding in.
I was holding. I was holding in. I ain't never heard that one. I was holding in, man, and I told them boys, I said, look, I really love this place, and I've given my all to it. So if you want me to continue to be here, 10 years plus, this is the way to do it. Let's do it now.
Right.
They said that all right, well, this is what we see right now. And it just didn't make no sense. So I said, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna give everything that I got to this team. They're not gonna know this. They ain't gonna feel none of the drama and all this stuff.
They ain't gonna feel none of the tension that I have towards you, because y'all know y'all doing me wrong, because I got to go navigate an entire season, stay healthy.
And I was the 12th highest paid in the league at that point. Like, you talking about dudes that's coming in that haven't even really done anything like at all yet. That's getting, they getting paid off potential. So I'm sitting here like what are we thinking? And you could talk about, like, a lot of dudes don't want to play under these tags these days. It was worse than that. I had no security, so I had to go get a Lloyd's of London policy to make sure, just in case anything happens, that's going to give me something close security to what my value would be.
Correct.
So I done went and spent money, and when you get insurance, you hoping that you wasting the money, essentially.
Yeah.
So now I done put more money in, so I'm losing more money by being here, right?
Right.
But I got to do whatever to protect myself, because
you got a wife and kids, you got a family, so you need that bread.
And not to mention, I'm not the type of dude that's gonna go out there, and I ain't gonna mention no names, but there's some dudes out there that'll get on that field just to be out there, and they ain't gonna go across that middle fearless like how I do. I'm going across, opening up, doing what I gotta do to make the play like I got security, which I don't. And
they sleep real good at night. They never gonna have to worry about, hey, Davante got in some trouble.
Never. Not. I mean, nose clean the whole time, and nothing even came up. I got one thing that's happened, and it was the cameraman little fluke situation in Kansas City, which I think everybody came to realize was I'm not the big bad wolf the way that they thought. They'd be like, oh, there it is. His ass, yeah, he a bad dude, yeah. And then they realized, okay, we was tripping. Yeah, we would, whatever you want to say about it, but I did everything that I could for that organization, to where I felt like I was deserving of something to make it happen, to where we could, make it work. And ultimately it got to a point where I said, look, I'm going to go and see what the market's talking about. And then they tagged me, and I just said, that's not going to work for me. And, we ended up, working together and figured it out. And here we are now.
Quick math. The less your business spends on operations, multiple systems, and delivering your product or service, the more margin you have and the more money you keep. But with higher expenses on materials, employees, distribution, and borrowing, everything costs more. So to reduce the cost and headaches, smart businesses are graduating to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, HR into one platform and one source of truth. With NetSuite, you reduce IT costs because NetSuite lives in the cloud with no hardware required, access from anywhere. You cut the cost maintaining multiple systems because you've got one unified business management suite. You improve efficiency by bringing all your major business processes into one platform, slashing manual tasks and errors. Over 37,000 companies have already made the move, so do the math and see how you'll profit with NetSuite. By popular demand, NetSuite has extended its one-of-a-kind flexible financing program for a few more weeks. Head to netsuite.com/ShayShay. It's reported, I don't know if you can clear this up, that you took not considerably less, but the Raiders gave you a little less than what the Packers had offered.
Yeah, right before the ending of it. Yeah, that's true.
You was out of there. You felt they slapped you in your face by not giving you what you had earned up until that point.
Correct.
They made you play, put you and your family at risk, and then once you come out on the other side, say, "Now we knew you could do it. Here you go, bro."
And then, but the biggest thing was that I didn't hear anything after that. So I basically was already la.
Okay.
Once the season ended, but there was no follow up. There wasn't a lot of talks going on. I didn't know there was for like almost 2 months. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm gonna just be a regular dude to them, so I'm about to go. And then they think that, tagging me was the next option after basically playing for less than a tag the year before that. So I'm like, this is obviously not. And they was, I don't know if they was calling my bluff or just what the idea was, but it just wasn't working for me. So I had to plug my ears before I heard a number that made my ass want to stay.
Because you'd heard that number first, like, okay, I forgive y'all.
Hold on, you said what? So I just said, look, we gonna nip this in the bud. This is what I think is best. Ended up working out for the Packers. They got a couple good players out of it as well, and it is what it is.
Growing up, your upbringing. I read that you never had your own bed, slept on the couch at your grandma's house with 9 other people living there. Did you always want to be a football player? Did you always want to be? What did Tay want to be when he was growing up?
I want to be in the NBA. When I was in the 4th grade, we did a yearbook thing.
Okay.
I could show it to you too. I got it in my favor, so it'll be real easy to find. But I don't know if you ever seen it. I was in 4th grade, and this will tell you that this was all meant to be, because you'll notice that jersey and you'll notice that kid right there. That's in the yearbook, 4th grade yearbook right there.
NBA or NFL star?
That's what I told them people that I needed. I said that's what I want to be, and you see NBA was first.
Yeah.
At this point, I didn't play football till my junior year in high school. Wow. So I was supposed to be.
So all your time was the ball, the hoop.
It was ball for me, and it was really no other option. There was nobody else that had made it out of where I was from. So I wanted to be able to inspire the youth in my city, and obviously provide for my family, and do what I love to do, which is play ball. But the football I ended up catching one of those at some point in high school, and I said I grew 5.5 inches going into high school, and then that kind of stopped, and I was like, dang, I thought I was gonna be 6'8". I'm like, okay, so I grew, and I'm grateful. I'm about 6'1", 6'2" now,
right? But
that's bottom of the barrel in the NBA.
Yeah.
So, and I do got the 41, 42-inch vert to make up for it, but it's gonna be tough.
Shooting like Steph, the Dame.
And I ain't shooting it like Dame or Steph, but I can shoot it. But them boys a little different over there with that. So if I can't shoot it like them, and I ain't and Dame about my height, so he close, but I play the numbers, and I feel like the NFL was gonna be a good look for me.
How motivated were you? And I tell people this all the time. My only motivation was to get my family out of the environment that I grew up in, because I didn't want my kids to spend one day in a life in which I had to live.
Right.
So let alone an hour, not even a day.
Right.
How motivated were you to get your family, knowing their upbringing, 9 people and sleeping on a couch in your grandmother's home? How motivated was Davante to leave that environment?
I mean, it was my driving force, man. And honestly, I'm glad that I had a wake-up call in high school that kind of got me on the right track as far as academics, because I wasn't really focused the way that I was supposed to, in early in high school, and that was going to lead to me having to take a whole alternate route to get where I needed, which, nothing wrong with the JUCO route, but you can get lost in the sauce, especially coming from where I come from. A lot of people end up in that and get lost in it. You ain't guaranteed nothing. You might have a quarterback that's okay, but we need somebody that knows that can sling it to be able to.
We play a dependent position.
Correct, exactly. If I'm playing running back, that's on me. The O-line got to block, and you got to be a good scheme and all that. But you get that pill in your hand, you got more to do with. You got more to say about what you do than on the outside.
Right.
So for me, I just had to get a little bit more mature, throughout as it pertained to understanding the big picture, in high school and locked in. And once I got there and understood and conquered that academic aspect and got to a point where I realized that I was on my way, I feel I couldn't let nothing get in my way. I knew my whole life growing up, every time I played, at any level of basketball or whatever, I was always one of the best ones, if not the best one. So it wasn't a talent. So for me, it was just about the right opportunity and making sure I checked the boxes of, what I had to do, academically. And I don't want to say check the boxes because that make it seem like I was just trying to get by, which with some of it maybe that was. But to a certain extent, I wanted to make sure I did what I had to do so that I could, get there. Because school for me, I didn't want to be a doctor, so it was essentially a means to an end because you got.
I majored in eligibility.
There you go. And then once I got my head on my shoulders, I said this is something that I can use to. And for me, I never even really thought too much about I need to provide for my kids because I wasn't even on that wavelength, that mental wavelength at that point.
But your immediate family that you saw going through everything that you was going through.
Exactly, which is why that same house that I lived in and grew up in and slept on that couch last year, so basically 12 months ago, I was able to team up with CBS and go and completely renovate her entire home in 2 weeks. So I went and did that just to give back to her because it's not easy doing that. Obviously my parents did a great deal for me, and living with my mom and dad being separated, I would go and stay with my mom. Then when I stayed with my dad, that was the situation that I had. And that's the only situation I ever had. So I didn't really know anything different. But once I got to the outside and I felt like I really needed to pay that forward to my people. You
dealt with a lot of death growing up. Friend, drug sales, gang violence. I think you had a cousin that got murdered. How did those situations impact Tay?
Well, I thank my parents, man. I got great parents. I thank them for really helping me be, exposed to it as far as knowing what's going on, but almost to learn from it and stay away from that type of stuff.
Okay.
I've never had any type of legal, run-ins where, I've made any bad decisions, and part of that was that healthy fear of my parents. Like they instilled it in me, and I knew the difference between, right and wrong.
Correct.
So even though I may have been, goofing off in the classroom freshman and sophomore year in high school or something like that, or, not giving my all into my academics, I was always a mature-minded person. I always knew, I always could make the right decision. Like my whole thing I still live by to this day is I never want to be able to say, I just made the worst mistake of my life. And it's a lot of dudes that I grew up with and that's still around.
Still paying for it.
That's still paying for it and still saying that almost day by day. Like, damn, I just made the worst decision, So to have parents that had me in elementary school 45 minutes away from the hood, getting on a school bus and having my day be a lot longer, but ultimately allowed me to be around a completely different crowd where I could focus on school and not have to worry about fighting in school and, drugs being in the school and elementary like how it was where I grew up and, people getting killed. Like I got friends that I played, early childhood basketball with that I didn't even get to see, graduate high school. And that's a crazy thought when you're an adult now. Like at that point, I'm thinking, so many people, you grew up in the hood, you see kids 13, 14 getting killed because they get into it so early. So it's not that crazy to you at that point. Those are just your friends. But then once you start to be an adult and you think about, what if my kid, like at that, I got a 5-year-old almost. I'm like, that's about 7 years from now. Like, the thought of that is insane to think about that. So for me to recognize that, that's my driving force, to continue to do what I do to, make sure my kids see the light and don't ever have to see stuff like that.
I read that you broke your arm 3 times. Broke your arm playing Pop Warner football, playing basketball, and then you broke it again playing football, all before the 8th grade.
You see that?
That's how you can get it up?
That thing.
Man, that's an extra 200 catches in there if you got that thing on. Dang!
Hey, I knew you was coming with that. That would be. I probably have 15,000 right now.
Yeah. You 200 catches short with that one.
Yeah, man. Now you see if it's ever a situation like that's what I'm working with. Super. I broke this when I was fifth grade twice. Wow. So I broke it Re-healed, reattached. I was wearing a brace and it was hooping in the after-school program before I should. Fell straight on it, snapped it again, and then again in 8th grade, I did it again.
So in other words, you broke the growth plate, so it stopped growing.
Stopped growing, and now that thing's stunted. But my right arm is way longer, but my left hand is way bigger. So I'm just don't even ask. I don't even know. I made it work. We done figured it out.
Did you want to quit? Did you feel cursed? Did you feel like, man, damn?
Well, football-wise, I was over it. That was because that was the one year that I played in Pop Warner.
Right.
Broke my arm the last play of the half, the first game of the season, playing quarterback.
Right.
Got sacked, and we was getting ready to knee it. I told my cousin that was coaching, I said, man, let's throw a Hail Mary. Let's go for this. We had like the 40-yard line. I don't even know if I could throw 40 yards at that point, but I told him, let's go for it. I'm dropping back here. We playing a team out of Oakland. These boys they wasn't checking birth certificates or something. I had a dude run around the edge, looked like you, came and smacked me, landed on me, and just snapped it. I said, I ain't never playing football again. I ain't never broke no bone in my life until that point. I was over it.
So high school football, so that means you didn't play high school football until your junior year. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you play your freshman and sophomore year? You so over it after breaking your arm?
I was over it, man. I was still healing coming in, like fully healing, and my mom was like, boy, you need to sit down somewhere. She enjoyed, I think, basketball more at that point anyway.
Right.
You know, seeing me like I was, you know, I ain't have a helmet. You're not as far away. You watching the game, you can see me like just how that camera right there. You could be right there up on the game. So she like, I'd rather be more intimate with it like that. My dad was a basketball phenom. Like he played both sports, but he was like that guy, especially in the hood growing up. Half the reason I don't go back now is because every time I go, I get reminded of my dad, better athlete than me.
What?
And he about to be 62 next month. So I'm like, damn, okay, well, maybe I'll stay away from y'all. Y'all think I'm
y'all killing my confidence.
Right. But yeah, it is what it is. I decided that we gonna stick with this football thing, and it worked out. So
your junior year, you played 25 total games, 92 catches, almost 1,600 yards, 18 touchdowns. You won Palo Alto's first state title. You starting cornerback and wide receiver. Mm-hmm. You were locking them up. You was Reavers.
Man, I was playing off, pressing a little bit of everything. I should have had more picks. Them boys wasn't throwing on my side.
Oh, you were shut down.
I was just over there baiting stuff, and they was like, nah, we ain't doing that. we ain't coming over there. Not with all them touchdowns he got. Yeah, but it was. We had a good team though, man. Went out there and won, and we wasn't a private school, nothing. Went out there and held our own.
You were a high school teammate of Jock Peterson.
Yeah.
And Jock Peterson won two World Series back to back. I think he played with the 49. I think he did the Giants.
The Giants was the team he was on before the Diamondbacks. Now,
yeah,
he won one with the Braves and he won one with the Dodgers.
Hold on. In 2009, he had 30 catches, 650 yards, 9 touchdowns. You had 25 catches, 484 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Hey man, it was his show. One thing people don't know, they see him now, and he didn't, he a baseball dude. They ain't got to look like us when they get out there. Right. So it's hard to like think about it, but Jock was really the jack of all trades though.
Really?
He was that guy. He basketball, football, baseball. Like he didn't need the academics. He just needed to be able to graduate high school because he went and got drafted right out of there because he could do it all though. Honestly, people didn't know that about him, but he was somebody that I looked up to when I first started football.
I mean, you said he was a great football player, obviously baseball because he made it to the majors, basketball. I'm looking at some of the athletes from the Bay. Brady, Bill Russell, Barry Bonds, Jason Kidd, GP, Dane. Excuse me. Rest his soul, OJ. Where is Davante in that list?
Oh, he in there somewhere. That's for sure. You got it. Hey, if we putting jerseys up on the wall, mine gonna be in there.
It's gonna be when it's all said and done. When you're done with this game.
I don't know if they're gonna put it right by Tom's, but they gonna put it.
Right.
I'll be over there somewhere, at least near Dame and OJ.
Right. So you're great. So you said you took at first you were like you joked around in class. Grades weren't a big thing. So is that why you didn't get an opportunity to go to Cal because of your grades?
The grades, they came in, man.
Were they really bad?
I mean, I was.
Could you have gotten in prison with them grades?
Yeah.
I'm just
Hey, I say it like this, man. I was flirting with being eligible, which is really really bad. That's not good by any means. I was hovering around like a 2.0, like right there,
Right.
you know, and that was factored in with PE grades in there too. so it was, you know, I definitely wasn't doing nothing that would attract Stanford. You know, Stanford, my high school here, El Camino right here, and Stanford is literally right here, and them boys wanted nothing to do with your boy because they like, we gonna give you a scholarly just for it to go to waste. Like you ain't showing that you got what it takes to be able to even, you know.
Did you want to go to Stanford?
I never really had an interest. I always wanted to go to Cal. That was a school I wanted to go to real bad. It was Cal or Oregon at that point. Just it was, you know, Marshawn being somebody I grew up around.
Right.
Seeing him and D-Jack, like they made college football in the Bay Area look like big time ball, like them boys in Clemson and like what you see on the East Coast and in the South. Like it was the closest thing resembling to that, and it looked more fun, honestly, because them boys took it over themselves.
Right.
So that's where I always wanted to go, but. That's another. I mean, in the UCs, they got to see something that's going to stand out. So it ended up turning into 2 offers. And, you know, they called me a 2-star, but I think that's closer to a 1-star.
Right.
And you know, having San Diego State come and offer me in class, and actually one of the coaches that they offered me walked into the class, called the teacher out. Teacher got us in there. We just sitting in there for like probably 30 seconds. He walked back in, offered me a scholarship in front of the class, and say to the class, this scholarship's gonna go to waste if he don't pick his grades up. And that was one of the most embarrassing moments I think I ever had in my life, because mind you, I'm the guy at the school.
Right.
So like ain't nobody in that class or at the school gonna try me in a way like that. But what am I gonna do? Like respond? Like I can't want to be like get on him about that. So I'm just sitting there just with the stank face, just mad and salty about it. But
you know it's true.
It lit a fire though. It did. And at that point I never really, you know, when you young like that, I wouldn't say that I was doing enough in hoop my first 2 years to where I was get a offer that early. You got the guys that come in the you know, like the Aaron Gordons and people like that I played hoop with in that area, where, you know, he's 6'7" and doing all that dunking. They got scouts and stuff at every game. So those type of dudes get offered in 8th grade sometime. Right. But I wasn't doing enough to, at that point, I don't think my game had matured enough. And then it got to a point even by my senior year where I was getting a lot more attention. But at that point I had already made up my mind, and thankfully got my grades together, ended up taking 8 classes. You know, your junior and senior year, you start gearing down. You done took the most of them, so you finishing up, you almost decide where you want to go.
Doing the least possible.
Yeah, so I got 8 classes my senior year, and then, so full day, every single day. Yeah. And then I had to, when I graduated high school, I was headed to Fresno State, but still had to take another course because I had taken a class that wasn't I wasn't like on the eligibility for D1 eligibility. Mm-hmm. So the class that I actually did pass and do well in didn't even count. So I graduated high school and got to take a summer school course while these boys is in training camp in college. My whole class is there. I'm taking a class just to still get into Fresno State. So that's actually why I ended up redshirting, because they didn't get to really assess me in training camp because everything took so long.
But you were, those 2 seasons that you played, 24 touchdown catches in a season, 8 more than anyone else in college football. You averaged 2 touchdowns a game, had 14 catches the year before, led the nation with 131 catches, 117 yards, 24 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Bro, you put that work in.
We did, and honestly, it's a blessing in disguise. I think that I was able to redshirt that year, because that first year, like getting acclimated, I went and I took advantage. I went to work. I felt kind of slighted that they redshirted me, because I felt like they knew enough about me to have me on that field, but we had a lot of guys going at that point, and I don't know if I would have been able to make that same initial splash in the college football the way that I did had I played that year. So I think that it worked out better. I got Scout Team Player of the Year. I was wearing Keenan Allen's jersey number. You know, you put the little pennies on to go out and mimic him. And I was taking full advantage, learning him, and, you know, he ended up turning into like one of my idols. And I ended up telling him like a couple years into the league, and, you know, he one of my good friends now because of, you know, essentially just having to model my game after him, you know, playing against them week 1, that first game. I said, man, I'm about to kill these boys all year. And I took that, you know, I took all the onus to get better and use that year for what it was, and then came in that year, like you said, over 100 catches and, you know, 114. And then the next year they sitting there, well, how he gonna follow that up? Well, then I came back and doubled the touchdowns, and then 130 and 1,700. And at that point, with Derek leaving and me being in the position that I was and what I'd already solidified, I felt like
I'm leaving too.
I was gonna hurt myself more
right.
by staying, because I mean, what you want to see 2,000 yards before you believe that? And we played the freaking 12 games,
right?
You know what I mean? Like I was getting it in, and I felt really good. I felt like I put everything I could on tape, and being a little bit younger, getting in the league, it give me a little bit more time in the league too, so it just so happened to work out, great timing.
In the 2014 draft, can you name the 8 receivers that were drafted before you?
Sammy Watkins, 4th overall, Mike Evans, 7th overall, Odell, 12th overall, B. Cooks, 20th overall, Kelvin Benjamin, 28th overall, Marquise Lee was the first pick of the 2nd round, I believe. Then we got Paul Richardson, Jordan Matthews, and then I think 1-7 came in there right after that. If I didn't mess that up.
That's it.
Yep. Yeah.
Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham Jr., Brandon Cooks, Kelvin Benjamin, Marquise Lee, Jordan Matthews, Paul Richardson.
Yeah, Jordan was right before Paul. Yep. Yeah.
But that draft, think about it. You had Aaron Donald in that draft, Jadeveon Clowney, Khalil Mack, Teddy Bridgewater, Derek Carr, Jimmy G, Jarvis Landry, Christian Kirksey. What was your rookie year in Green Bay? Did you think you should have played more? Or you played about as much as you thought you should or deserved or earned the right to play?
Well, I'll say this. I didn't have any issues with how much I played, because I feel like I got a substantial amount of snaps. I felt like maybe I could have gotten used a little bit more, and maybe that would have even helped advance my my progression as a receiver in this league, to help going into that next year, but having different times where, and that's just the reality of it. You come in and you got Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb on the team, and you come in and you're not playing, like I said, like how Odell did when he first got in. If I was doing that and wasn't getting the ball, then maybe I would feel differently, but I don't think my game was at that point, and that's one of my best traits. And somebody gave me this compliment the other day, and it was actually like one of the best compliments anybody could ever give me. Said, Tay, I really feel like you're the most self-aware person that I ever met. And it meant a lot to me, because I'm really good about being honest with myself. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I should have been a Pro Bowler that year, or my second year I should have been getting the ball like some of these dudes, because you gotta play like it. And my confidence wasn't at the spot where I want 10 targets, 15 targets a game.
Right.
Because when you're not confident playing this position, you're not going to be able to be successful unless you're standing by yourself out there. So you got to get open. You got to do all the stuff that it takes to be great. And then once you accumulate enough stacked success, that's when you get to a point where you feel like, okay, now this thing should be my show. And then that ended up happening. But that first year, I didn't necessarily feel that way.
How much did social media impact you the first 2 years? The fans wanted Jeff Janis to play. They hashtag Janis over Adams.
Yep.
But your mom like, hold on, y'all ain't finna talk about my baby like this here.
A lot of my people felt that way. And honestly, I love Jeff to death. So that's one of my favorite teammates I ever had. We still talk. He still, honestly, to this day, I think Jeff might talk more shit to me than anybody that I've ever played with. Like, Jeff Janis don't care, man, and we came in together and we were real tight. So I got nothing but respect for him. But, so it has nothing to do with him. But I just thought that just people were just insane making some of the claims that they were making, because it's like, what are you expecting out of a young player coming in? First, just getting my feet wet. I shown you that there's some, I showed a little promise early, had some hiccups, but the fact that people be ready to just give up on folks the way that they do, especially after they know that they can play,
right?
It kills me, and that's why I feel like it's my responsibility now to show love to the proper people, no matter what they're going through. As it pertains, we come on here and we talk about somebody that's struggling in the league. I'm not gonna lie to you, but if it's somebody that I feel like we talk about Aiden, people want to say, oh, he not the answer, this and that. Well, what are you basing that off of? Do you have a large enough sample size to really truly feel that way? Or are you saying that because this man on TV said that and he's shaping the way that you feel about, about the game? And I've always said, like, I wish that I could even start this now and put some money in to get it going. But I wish the fans had the ability to access practice film and really see that way they could determine who they really, really like and who is really the best. Because if you got to see people work on a day in and day out basis and go in and watch, let me see what Tate did in 7-on-7 today. Let me see in a team period 4 how he played when they did move the ball period. Let me see how he did. And if you got the chance to come in and watch me work, it wouldn't even be. I mean, I know some guys out there getting it in practice, and they post their videos and they do all that. I don't do the social media trying to prove to the world that I'm out here grinding.
Right.
You're going to see on Sunday, and then the one after that, and then the one after that, and for continuous years. I'm going to show you the proof is in the pudding, so I'd rather do it that way.
What do you feel your responsibility as a receiver? Because a lot of times, and sometimes quarterbacks don't take this approach. My job is not to get him ready. But MVS gave you a lot of credit that says you taught him how to run the routes, you taught him how to be professional. What role do you think you play as a veteran guys, helping the young guys get ready to play?
I mean, that my leadership role is been prevalent for, I mean, really since about, I would say honestly 2017, probably the year before Marquez and them got in the league. Mm-hmm. That's when it got to a point where I was for sure the number one guy, and it was essentially my show on offense. So I've been real secure about myself as a player. So I don't feel like me going in, or I'll say this, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the team and my fellow wideouts by not giving them all the knowledge that I've gotten, because honestly, a part of what's making it harder year by year is when you know so much and you truly understand the game, you can't just be coached by just anybody.
Right.
Because now I'm not just about to buy in. Like if you come in the league and you don't know much, it's easy to have whatever coach. You got this old dude telling you this and that.
Yeah.
You just gonna go because he's the coach.
Right.
But once you have real experience and you really know yourself, and I've learned from some real gurus. Right. Keith Williams, my receiver coach from Fresno State, who's with the Saints now.
Right.
He's taught me 90% of what I know, mentality-wise, technique, all of that, to where now, walking into a room, I got to be with a guy like Edgar Bennett that he understands that I know, so that we work together when it's time to, put together the individual part of practice. We talk about what drills you want to do, because I'm not about to get out there and do no drills that's
not going to help me in the game.
It got to translate. I'm looking at dudes working out in the offseason. These dudes working out with the wideout prints and king routes and this and that. I'm like, who is that dude? Why have we not seen him run routes in the league if he know all this? You know what I'm saying? And it don't always mean that you had to have played to be a good coach. So I'm not saying that. But when I see a dude simulating a kick return and they throwing trash cans at him, I'm like, what are we doing? How is that making you better at football? So you could say you're getting it in, and just say you're doing cardio, because you're not getting better at football. It's better than sitting at the crib, but you ain't getting better at football. And I'm not about to be having nobody throw no trash cans at me in practice to simulate a defender trying to tackle me.
Right.
So having a guy like EB and AP and being able to work with a coach in situations like that, I feel like it helps me be myself, which I can now share that on, Trey Tucker or Jacoby Myers, and we work together. That way I can, shed all of the knowledge and the light that I have and help them. Like it's not one meeting that go by where we watching practice tape and I'm sitting here like this and I'm just sitting here just taking notes on what I'm doing. At some point I'm gonna be, hey Tuck, like if you running this, like make sure right before you at the top, like I need a real hard burst. He got to feel that you going deep. If you running that corner pump stop or whatever it is, that last piece, you got to sell that. That's what's going to get them to do it. Because these dudes always ask me, how you work on the releases? Like what drills you do? I say, you know what I do? Every single time I got somebody pressing, I don't just take that as an opportunity to get lazy and just run around them or do some BS at the line. I'm working every single time. And what that does in turn is instill fear in that man, because now he know, this the guy with the releases. So then half the time it just make it easy, because these dudes just retreat, because they done seen me work so many dudes to where now it's just operation don't get abused versus try to be aggressive and really stop them. Yeah. And that just makes your job easier when you're in the driver's seat like that.
Everything should be to set up everything else.
Correct.
I'm running. Trust me, when I run a particular route, I got another route in mind that I'm running off this.
100%.
You just don't know it. 100%. But it's going to come up in the fourth quarter. I promise you.
It is. And I done talked to these boys about my mentality, like, I run a route because you ain't going to be wide open on everything. No. So you got to.
They get paid too.
They get paid too, man. They get a knot. Like
that's what I used to tell my coach. Hey, you got to beat him on that. Yeah. I said he got a check last week too.
Oh yeah. And I don't even know. So I'm gonna share some light on something that I've never even shared. I've done a few podcasts, but I never even shared this. But I talked to my teammates about it, and I be telling the DBs too, and they just laugh at me for it. But they understand, and they know it's a whole different cerebral approach to this game that I have. Right. I'll run a comeback on you right here. you may see it a little bit better than the next man and get on it. You might be in my hip pocket on it, right?
Right.
I'm gonna keep coming downhill, and if that quarterback don't throw that ball, I'm gonna stick my foot in the ground so quick and make you think it was a double move and kill you on that, when really it was just a comeback.
Right.
But now your ass think you got killed after you thought you was on me. I done pumped it through the hand up and I'm jumping like, oh, the ball, I need the ball. When really you guarded that well.
You had it covered.
But now your ass think you got
that
beat.
seed.
So now it's gonna make him different. Where I got come back the next time, he gonna be a little bit more
apprehensive about jumping it.
Exactly. So
let me ask you this: you look. A lot of people say you're not one of the great route runners in today's game. I've studied you. I've watched you. You're one of the great route runners of all time. And when I talk route munners, I'm talking about Jimmy Smith. I'm talking about Keenan McCardle. I'm talking about Flipper Anderson. My brother was a great route runner. Ocho Cinco. AB. No matter what you think about AB, and he's dealing with what he's dealing with, he's taking shots at me, but I thought he was a phenomenal receiver. Feet was second to none. Who did you study, Tay?
Man, it was a little bit of everybody, honestly. I'm the type of dude now that I truly feel like, not that people didn't already know Calvin Ridley and these guys, but this is somebody
Amari Cooper,
all the dudes. Like, you got the guys that's in the front, like you got the Julios, the ABs that obviously you can't help but to watch that tape. But when I'm watching it, like if you want to go a little bit older, I mean, like Santana, like seeing Santana and watching Santana, Ocho, and Andre Johnson on YouTube at the park in Miami in like 2007, and young AB was there with him with the the little box cut, the little weird little whatever. Like I'm thinking about stuff like that, where I'm watching Santana Moss do his thing. I'm watching a Calvin Ridley. I might turn on some, whoever. It might be a dude that's a number 3 receiver. It's a dude that was over in you gotta forgive me for forgetting his name in the moment, but the dude that was over in with the Falcons, slot dude, little smaller dude.
Okay.
Just recently though, he was just there. But guys like that I'm watching, and you may not even, these dudes ain't gonna be on SportsCenter, but I'm watching what he doing, because that could help me create Weapon X, where I grab a piece of that. I watch Calvin because I want to see a dude go up and snatch the ball. Dez is a dude that I grew up really studying, because just watching, like you talk about a dog going up and getting, and just a different type of aura out on the field, like that type of swag that you carry, that helped me add to the type of player and the type of aura that I got on the field, that I feel like that, as you know, that helps you too. Some dudes come in and they worried about you, and they already mentally psyched out and scared because they done seen the tape, and then they feel you on the field like that too, and the way you walk around, and you walk around like you really that dude.
I'm him.
Then it's gonna make them. They sitting there, I'm watching them do their little back pedal, and they peeking, watching me run my routes and warm ups, and I turn around and I'm damn sure looking at you the whole way, but I'm not looking at you to evaluate you.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you so I'm looking at your ass, and I'm hearing, because I know you watching me.
Right.
So it's that type of feel. Like I get a little bit from different guys in different ways to kind of blend it together and make me.
Let me ask you this. I had a problem. You know what used to bug me? I catch 700 balls in practice, and then come game time, they throw me 3. And then some weeks I get like 5 balls the whole week, and then y'all throw me 4. I'm like, bro.
I need some consistency. I need some consistency. I hate that, and honestly, to be honest, I never really had to deal with that too much, especially with Aaron, because we practice the way we play.
Right.
Like, and the way that both of us got, the reason why I walk around on Sunday the way I do is because I did it a million times. Jerry Rice came to the house. I did a panel with him in 2018. We shoot it back and forth and talk to him. I asked him in 2018 Super Bowl Atlanta, I said, like, why it just looks so easy for you out there? Like, what was it like? What's the secret as to why you go out there, you catching every ball, get the yak yards and all this? Like, what was it? He said, I never caught a ball because I saw it. I caught it because I saw it before. So them reps and just that repetition of, this ain't the first time where you running down the field and I'm running a post, and it done been times where it's like a quick flash of practice where I really remember catching that ball, and it's like almost like a sense of deja vu, because I take those reps so serious that it makes it that much easier, come game time.
Something you probably never seen Jerry die for a ball.
I can't.
A bad play.
I can't channel one. He didn't have some boys that can throw it. That's for sure. Yeah. But yeah, and in Seattle, he was probably too old to be on that ground. So, yeah, that might have been the only time.
But so did you ever go? Hey, did you ever tell Aaron, or did you go to the court? Hey, Give me a look on this one.
100%. I never really had to, but there's been times, the one time, and we've already talked about this so I can say it, but the game winner 2017, right after I came back from a concussion, I got smacked by Danny Trevathan. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
The late, and then we had it like 4 days later, had to go play on a Thursday or on a Sunday or whatever it was. The second to last play of the game, he threw me a fade. So I think it's like 12, 13 seconds left in the game or something like that. Throw me a fade, and he threw it quick and too high.
Right.
And so I go up spinning, but I can't get it. I run back to the huddle, and he getting the call. I said, throw it again. I said, throw it again. He never heard me have that type of energy. I said, throw it again, and I just started leaving the huddle. Like I don't even want to hear the play. We need to do that again. He said, reload it. Did it again. Waited a second. Threw it right before Lewis turned his head. Just a little bit lower right here, back shoulder, caught it spinning, threw that thing $6,000 later. I had to pay for that in the stands. But having those type of moments is what really like led to us being who we ended up being. Was challenging each other and me not being afraid, knowing that we have that type of connection to say, hey man, and for a guy like Aaron, he like, I ain't had too many dudes come back and tell me what to do. So that's confidence, and that just displayed confidence, and that led to him, And when you have those moments, those are the most gratifying moments, because if I tell him to do that and then I'm going to mess it up, now you look stupid and it ain't going to work. And that could really hurt you.
Hurt your relationship on the field,
long term.
Let me ask you this. Do you talk on the field?
You talking about like
trash?
Look, I do and I don't. I used to a lot. When I first got in, like I kind of was chilling and trying to figure it out. Then once I started figuring it out, I started talking. Like in college, I was a big shit talker. Then it got to a point where now, man, I find like I don't want to sound bad saying this, but I find value in just like almost looking through some dudes, man. Like boys be out there trying to talk. Like it's certain people that I talk to like not playfully in a sense that we talking, but it's like a respect thing. Like me and Sauce was playing like we gonna say some stuff to each other. Like he make a play or whatever, we gonna say something to each other. But it ain't like I want to fight this dude after this or whatever. It's more like just two alphas going at it. You gonna have some interaction or whatever. But it's never nothing that's too crazy. But to the point now where if I feel like you don't need to be talking to me, like you ain't there. Like that's how it was with Richard Sherman, my rookie year. Like I see this dude out there talking or Keith to leave. I see the way they was talking to dudes, and I'll be like, okay, it's about to be one of them games. I get in there, and them boys wasn't even entertaining me. I was like, that felt different for me. Like I'm like, okay, this man, every game he got a guy, like he in his head, he talking, but he not even, he like, I'm not even gonna get it to this dude. Like he ain't.
You ain't even worth my words.
Exactly, and that's what I felt. At least that's how I took it. So I said, I need to get to the point where I'm gonna start making dudes feel like that. You wanna talk? I hit somebody, I ain't gonna say what team it was, but I hit somebody last year. I'm going back and forth with a dude that I had respect for. So we talking kind of on the same type of thing as Sauce. It was a little nastier, but that's kind of how me and him would get down in the game. And then somebody else came around that was also a good player. He said something, so I started getting on him. And I'm kind of getting in him a little bit. And then his teammate, he kind of like trying to like, put his hand in between like all right, like you chill, whatever. And then another dude came over, said something. I must have I did that to him. All right. He did that, and then his teammates got to laugh. They said, "Bro, go back to the huddle, bro." And I'm like, "Get him!" Like, stay out of grown folks' business. Like that type of, you know what I mean? Growing up, your dad would be like, "Hey, you can't be in the living room right now. Like, you go down there and sit in the den for a minute." That's how I feel. Like, I'd rather do them like that. If you worthy, then maybe I will. But even for the most part, man, I just rather get out there and just ball like game hard enough to. And I play too many plays to be out there messing around talking to you all day.
I know there was a conversation being held. Austin Rivers said he know 30 dudes in the NBA right now that can go play in NFL.
Yeah.
He said, but there ain't nobody in the NFL that could play in the NBA.
Yeah. Look, I ain't trying to go viral and look, I'll say this. I understand what he's saying. These NBA dudes are extremely athletic. They be 6'8" and being able to move similar to what a football player will be doing out there. But we're not talking about going and doing a combine. We're talking about the physicality that come with
to go play in an NFL game.
and being callous enough to understand, like if my dad run out there and just fall on the ground right now, he gonna be hurt.
Yes.
Let alone getting hit and then falling on the ground.
Correct.
Like I think, like just think about somebody that you know that even when you were in the league, somebody that was your age. Think about them just getting hit. Let alone like that's not even the fall part. Think about how many people you know that done fell and got hurt.
Yeah.
Let alone getting smacked and
dude fall on
up.
top of you. You fall on the ground hard. You fall, that hurt, and dude fall on top of you.
Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. All of that is going on. And that's what the whole game is.
Yes.
These dudes ain't getting out of one football game, let alone talk about being able to play in the NFL. There's zero shot.
Yeah.
I don't know who I would pick. You could look at some of the physical specimens. You got some Julio looking dudes in the NBA maybe. But
I'm saying if they had LeBron or Russell Westbrook or some of these other guys chosen.
100%.
Yes.
That's different.
But to just go and say, oh, here's the helmet, here's some shoulder pads, go play.
No, sir. No, I can't get behind that and say that. Now, it's a hard enough argument. And I'm not here to say more NFL could go to the NBA versus the other way around. Right. But if you ask me, I know a handful of guys that I know could have made that, and I'm saying even done this from the initial point.
Right.
Not like now, it's tough, man. Like
sure.
first of all, you got to be big as hell, and all the big dudes is the big dudes in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So what you ain't gonna put Colton Miller, he's 6'8", but who he gonna go guard on the perimeter?
Nobody.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's easy, but I could have did it. But
but I think football players are the most athletic. They can jump the highest. They can run the fastest. Mm-hmm. They're the strongest. Mm-hmm. They're the toughest.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that other sports, baseball or whatever sports, but I'm talking about if you talk about athlete for athlete, football, baseball, basketball, football. As far as vertical jump, because we vertical jump standing still. Yep. They get a step, they run and jump.
They get a run, even for the combine.
Yeah. As far as flat out speed, ability, oh no.
Yeah, it's not even close. These dudes, like I said, the physical aspect is just one piece, but then when you get into the speed and they agile, but just being able to move on grass is different. Yeah.
And plus y'all got like 4 plays in basketball. We got 150 we got to remember.
It's a whole different.
And a dude try to knock your block off.
And we gonna change the play. You might get 3 calls in the huddle too. These boys don't even be going to college for more than 5 minutes half the time in the NBA, so I don't know how much they're gonna be able to retain like that.
Yeah, we got too much we got too much on our plate.
I'm telling you.
Who's your favorite NBA player?
Damian Lillard.
Damn, that was quick.
Yeah.
Is it because he's from the Bay or you just like his game? Or that's his game remind you of your game?
First of all, that's like my brother. So, so
I like that. I like Dollar.
There's a sense of loyalty there, but then when you talk about like, if I had to go pick 10 dudes to go to like physical war with, like that's one of them boys. He gonna be front line with me, and we cut from the same cloth. So that's anybody that got the same type of mentality, been through the same type of stuff, from the same area. So we experience a lot of the same things and share a mindset and just the style. Like we ain't celebrities. People know me because of football.
Right.
They don't know me because I'm a fashion icon or whatever. Right. I mean, I be dripped out.
Oh yeah, you got the Dior on.
I got it on.
Candy Jacks, like
you see it's gonna be on, but they don't know me because of that.
Yeah.
They know me because of football.
Right.
And it's a lot of dudes out here that are known from a lot of other stuff, and you know their name.
You want to be known as a football player,
and that's who he is. He like, I want to be the best to do what I do, or at least the best version of myself, and I'm gonna make everybody around me better. We've had very similar paths, around the same age, and we just vibe. So it obviously helps it being cool with a dude.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
But before it was even to that point, like, I've always been a huge fan of him. Going to a school that wasn't the biggest school, and then coming into the league and doing what he did, basically changing what people think about a school like Weber. Like, that's basically how they feel about Fresno now. Like, Fresno was known for being the tough guys, but it wasn't like they producing talent like top level all time.
Y'all known for like garlic or something, asparagus or avocados or something.
Chill. I don't know. It's definitely agriculture. We're an ag school, all right. But it is what it is. But yeah, Dame, we share a lot of the same values, mentality, the way we feel about our family, our kids, and everything. So. It's really not even, it's not close.
Who's the GOAT? NBA. Ah, man, I forgot you a Brad Jordan guy. Ah, man. Oh, man.
See that? This man right here, bar none. You got your LeBrons, and I love Bron. So Bron is a different type of dude, man, and I love Kobe. I got Mamba mentality on the inside of all my cleats, and it's a piece of all these guys that I love. But when you talk about just, I mean, he Randy Moss for me.
Right. It's a little late now. It ain't gonna happen. Do you wish you could have had a son early enough that you in the NFL and he in the NFL too? What would that be like for Tate?
Oh my God! Well, first of all, I don't know when I ain't got that many years to play to get a son in the league. Well, I'm saying even from the beginning, I ain't gonna be playing that damn long to where they. But
yeah, so 20, you had to be like Tom Brady.
Yeah, right. I would say I wish that maybe all I wanted was a healthy baby on my first child. Regardless. That was what was most important. But I wish that if I could have chosen, it would have been a boy first, because I feel like a boy at this point, like my daughter being in school, her classmates starting to know who I am and what's going on. And I feel like, not that she doesn't care about that and it's not cool for her, but I feel like naturally a boy would enjoy that and take advantage of it.
Yeah, you could take him in the locker room. You could have him on the sideline, and he get like Steph Curry and his dad, like he did with his dad.
Exactly.
On the shoot around and doing all that stuff.
You see the boxers in the ring. They got their son right there. Right. Little baby girl be in there, but she just gonna be in there just because daddy in there. But son gonna be in there really seeing, he gonna be looking like, okay, that's on the field. Okay, that's Jalen Ramsey over there. Like I want him to be able to soak it in and really know my daughter don't care about Jalen Ramsey. You know what I'm saying? And I want my son to be really dialed into the game while I'm in it, to be able to, we're gonna be around the game as long as I'm here. So he's still gonna be able to be there, but I want him to have been people, like I was telling you about my dad.
Yeah.
I never really saw my dad go to work like that. So I hear about all the legends and all of that, but I'd be like, damn, I just wish I would have been able to experience that. All y'all saying about that, if my son was able to see me play and be, 7, 8, years old, watching, and be in school and really know, my dad really is the best at what he do. I feel like it's a lot of.
Do you wish you'd had the son earlier? So, are you going to still? How about this? Are you going to stick around long enough so he can see what dad does?
See, that's the $1 million question. I feel like that's one of the main questions I get in general now is how much you got left? Because I feel like you could whatever, it could be this or that, and I say, man, I truly can't say that. This game has given me a lot. I still feel incomplete since obviously haven't hoisted that trophy yet, but I can't really give a full answer of how much longer I'm gonna do it. But if it keeps looking like how it's supposed to, or if we can get it back looking how it's supposed to, rather. I think I got a little bit more left in me, so we should be able to keep pushing.
How about this? I'm gonna get you out of here. I want to ask you 2 questions. Give me your Mount Rushmore basketball. Give me your Mount Rushmore football.
Wideouts football or players?
We can do. I'm gonna ask you your top 5 wideouts. You can do all time and you can do current. But I want you to give me your Mount Rushmore NBA players, Mount Rushmore NFL players.
Okay.
Always, four heads.
Who I think is the greatest or my favorite NBA?
Give me your Mount, however you want to list it.
Okay. Obviously MJ at the top. I'll probably go Bron second. Kobe. For me, my favorite basketball player growing up was Allen Iverson.
Okay.
So and that's where I get the shake from and what I brought over to the football world as well. So for me, AI is gonna be probably 4th, and 5th. I could throw in my other favorite, which is probably gonna shock a lot of people. Well, it shouldn't, but if you know me in the way that I play basketball, Darren Williams was one of my favorite basketball players.
Oh, Utah.
So that's the guys that I like the most. If I had to do the greatest, it would maybe just probably swap out the 5th and
got Magic, Bird, Giannis, KD, Shaq.
Yeah, I'll probably have to say I was going back and forth. I was going back and forth. See, and forgive me on the outside world if y'all don't feel the same way, but I never have felt obligated to throw in old greats just because they were founding fathers.
Okay.
I truly think that you got to put the best basketball players. And if I feel that, this guy is better than Magic or better than, and I'm not saying specifically him,
right.
but whoever, I'm gonna say who I feel like I like the most.
Okay.
So I didn't watch Kareem the way that maybe you watch Kareem.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna put Kareem in there.
Okay.
He's by far one of the best of all time. Mm-hmm. And that's, the numbers say it, the legend, all of that. But if I'm picking for me, I would probably say Shaq over Kareem for me.
Not gonna get much argument from that. Okay, give me a Mount Rushmore wide receivers.
Randy, Jerry, Calvin, T.O., and probably Marvin.
You only get 4?
I thought you said top 5. You said Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore wide
receivers. Top 5.
I'm gonna let you have top.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you have top 5 wide receivers.
Got
So
you.
your top 5 wide receivers all time is Randy, Jerry, T.O., Megatron,
Calvin third,
T.O. 4,
T.O. 4,
and Marvin Harrison 5th.
Yep, that's where I'm at with my top 5, and I guess we're gonna put Marvin on the bench if it's just a Rushmore.
So Marvin got to come in if somebody get nicked.
Hey man, I think he'll understand what I'm getting at. I love the fact that I'm saying his name. It's a lot of receivers to play this game, so it's real tough, and that's another one that I was kind of on the tail end of being able to watch, and I still have him in my top 5.
Right.
So that should tell you, as me being, I'm 31 years old.
Right.
I feel like most people are gonna be talking about Marvin gonna be 41 years old.
Right. Give me your top 5 wide receivers currently playing that take.
With me,
You can put yourself in there. You can leave yourself out.
Well, I ain't leaving myself out. If we talking about, if you want the best,
I want the best. I want the best. I want the best.
A separate list, then I can leave myself out. But if you saying the best, 1-7, you probably gonna go 18 after that.
Okay.
See, the thing is this, man. I feel like Jets he kind of changed this, but over the last 6 years, it's only been one person that people can't take out of that top 3, and that's me. So I feel like if you talking about my favorite right now, I would say CeeDee Lamb is probably gonna be 3rd for me, 4th. I put CD 4th, Reek 3rd, and 5th is always the hardest one for me. Because it's too many dudes, man. It's not like when I came in the league, you had the same top 3 guys was like the ones that get talked about. And now it's such a passing game, and these dudes is taking whatever they taking before they start getting tested, and they stay in their system forever, and they just turn into superheroes early on. Where you got Jamar Chase. I probably have to put Chase at
5.
At 5. Him or I don't know, my Eagles boys over there, they be doing their thing too. But I probably have
AJ.
To put, AJ is another one that's real consistent and just can ball on and do it at so many different ways too. I always ask people when you doing your top 5, it's 3rd and 8, and it's man-to-man coverage in the boundary. That's what I'm choosing it off of.
Right.
I'm not choosing off of just production. I'm choosing off of who gonna get open when I need them to get open, man-to-man coverage, or provided he get doubled.
Do you like versatility? They can play X, they can play Z, they can play slot, they can do it all.
Everybody that I listed does do that. And that's how I feel, because I'm starting 2017. That's when I started really getting in a slot like that.
Right.
And I feel like if you can't get it, I feel like it's harder to get outside. So
Right.
I like if you are only a slot guy, it's hard for me to put you as a top
for sure.
5 receiver in the league. Because once you get in there, it's just a lot less room out there. You're a lot more limited on the route you can run. So you got to be able to really create separation and operate in the phone booth.
Right.
And that's when I think about what's led to me having a successful career is that exact thing. So that's I probably have to put Chase at that 5 right now, just the way he playing.
Coach Belichick said you're a Hall of Fame wide receiver. You have 872 catches, a little less than 11,000 yards, almost triple-digit touchdowns, 95 touchdowns. When it's all said and done, is Davante Adams a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer?
When it's all said and done, I think that there shouldn't be a question about it. I think in today's world, that not many dudes get their flowers, during. So I think a lot of times, just like when people die, and then they turn into everybody's favorite rapper. That's how it goes.
Yeah,
and you start posting, everybody listening to Nipsey now, and 5 minutes after he got killed, and it's like, I never heard you. I've been hanging out with you for 10 years.
Nobody mentioned Nipsey.
And you always playing music. I ain't never heard one Nipsey song come out your phone. Now, that's how I feel. I feel like that's how they kind of do, especially now it's getting a little watered down with so many successful wideouts.
Right.
It's starting to take the value of, some of the things I've done down. But I think, provided I keep doing it, I had 1,500 yards, 21, 1,500 yards in 22. If I do that 2 more times, now we in the top 10 all time.
Right.
And it's only so many people with over 100 touchdowns, and I'm gonna have that hopefully in the first few games. So if you're looking at the numbers or if you're looking at the tape, I truly believe that it's nothing to talk about.
What can we expect from the Netflix series Wideouts? They follow you, JJ, Kittle, Debo, and Amon St. Brown. What can we expect? What is the audience? Not the Raiders audience, but what is the audience as a whole that doesn't know Davante, that probably wasn't Packers fan or not Raiders fan? What can they expect to see from you in this film?
You're gonna see just a 100% unfiltered. I mean, I had a mic on me every single game, twice a week in practice. They went and followed some of the private life, taking my kids to gymnastics, birthday party at the house.
Right.
They're gonna see just the real Tay, and you can watch an interview and you can hear. And obviously, I come on here with you doing stuff for ESPN. You ain't gonna see the real nobody.
Right.
But when you a little interview after the game, you just gonna get the post game interview type person. But you come on here, you see a little bit more personality. Me sitting here talking with you. But then the more you get that unfiltered in the home, going around town and day in the life type,
They're
follow.
gonna see that dog. They're gonna see that dog, Tay, huh?
They're gonna be able to really see what I'm about and the way that I talk, the way I think, and hopefully get a lot more respect. And hopefully they already got a lot of respect. But the people that maybe don't truly understand what I'm about, they'll be able to get a real up close picture at that. Because to be real with you, when that mic was on, it was on so much that it got to a point that I didn't even think about it. And they ain't telling you, hey, your mic is on, whatever. We get in the game, and I wasn't sitting here saying something rah-rah like it was, like how Jarvis did them boys on what's the little Hard Knocks in the room, and he hit them with the. I'm not doing none of that for the TV. None of it was for TV.
Right.
You ain't getting nothing for show. You got everything for show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I like that.
That's what you're gonna get from me at all times. And I had a couple of teammates that was having trouble with it because they was feeling like they was gonna get in trouble when I'm sitting here being me on the sideline, displeased with a drive we had or a call that was made or whatever. And I don't even know exactly what's gonna be aired and if you're gonna see certain things, but I'm gonna be me regardless.
Right.
So when that mic get on there, you just gonna hear what would be happening all the time. So when you in the 5th row and you see, you're gonna now be able to hear what was being said. And sometimes it's gonna be some good stuff, and sometimes it's gonna be some real passion. And I want them to understand that that's the real me. And I wanted to make sure that I told the people that came to the house and to record the way they shot everything. I said, I don't want no corny stuff on here. I don't want nobody thinking that this is for TV or whatever. Like, I want them to know that whatever they get in here is
the real you.
Is what they have not seen yet, but what has been, occurring this entire time.
Tay, you're married, you settled down, and it seems like you decided to get married at an early age. What made you decide to do that? And was it hard for you to make that decision?
It wasn't hard at all. One of the first people I met at Fresno State was my wife now, and a great friend before we even got to the point where we were boyfriend and girlfriend. So when I came in, I had a girlfriend from high school, so we couldn't really vibe the way we wanted to. I got this beautiful girl that lived in the same apartments as me, and we were just truly vibing. And
right.
I respected, and not that I would have been like this, but she not the type of girl that would have been cool with me trying to get at her with a girlfriend anyway.
Right.
So
you broke it off with the back home.
When that fell apart. She had a boyfriend at the time, and then it just so happened that and then I was single, just chilling, hanging out. And then when they stopped dating, we ended up hanging out as friends again, and we would, go eat, but it wasn't even dates. It was like just legitimately kicking it. I would walk downstairs. Her apartment was like on the floor below me, and then like down the hall a little bit.
Did you walk a little heavier when you was walking by, like letting her know that you coming by?
I did. Well, I'd be walking by. Her bedroom was right by where I had to come in my little gate to get into the stairs. So I come through, hooty hoo. I'm saying, make sure she knew I was there, and walk through, and then we started hanging out, and I knew right away that this is a really solid wifey material. You never know right away if you're gonna marry the person, but I knew this is wifey material for sure. Like, never been kissed, so I'm like, this. I need to make sure the longer you go in life trying to find one, they just going through more stuff, and then now you got to worry about what they've been doing the last 12 years as an adult. Yeah. So we got together when we were still kids. Right. At this point, so
because you got to understand that when you marry somebody, you date somebody, you dating their childhood.
You dating their childhood and their past and their adulthood.
But yeah, what did
and they gonna fabricate some stuff now. Especially if they done been through something, so they're gonna fabricate. Oh yeah, whatever. But it's a real truth, and it's some people that know the real truth out there. And I don't need to be worried about something like that. Right. So, honestly, I never really pictured myself getting married before the age of 30, and here I am, engaged and married, by 26. So I'm like, this is something solid. Especially me being me, it's not easy finding somebody that just want to be around because you are who you are, like as a true person. They want to be around you because you are who you are in the public eye, and they want that the money, or they want the attention, the notoriety, just to be around it. And I'm not that type of dude. I don't have nobody in my camp. I rarely even kick it with a lot of NFL dudes. I'm always with the people I grew up with. So that's how I get down, and people I went to college with and stuff like that. So. It's just I just stay true to myself, man. I'm gonna find somebody that match with me well, and just so happened to happen real early, and I thank God for that, really.
I'm gonna get you out of here on this one. What do you guys have to do to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs?
We're gonna have to win a Super Bowl for real. I mean, at this point, we beat them the last time we played them. So we went out there day after my birthday, played them on Christmas, and that was a great treat. Even though I didn't go out there and have a great game, I was ecstatic. The last time I played in that stadium, it was bad. We lost the game. I was able to step on their neck a little bit, but we lost the game, left the game, and got in trouble. I had a situation happen. So being in there on Christmas with the squad, you're a long way from home. It's cold, and to go in there and beat them in their own stadium, that was a good feeling. But them boys still won the Super Bowl, so they like, okay, you won the battle, but we won the war. So we're gonna have to do a little bit more, and I think we got the potential as a team. We just got to put it all together at this point.
What's it like seeing Patrick Mahomes play up close?
Do
people really understand how great he is?
I think they do, because I think it's enough people on TV making sure they know. and he do his job to make sure that they see it consistently, time after time. And he's a game changer. He didn't have so many different times. The game that sticks out to me is not last year, even the year before. It was like 3 years ago. They was playing the Texans in the playoffs, and they was getting their head beat in.
They was down 24-0.
And I'm watching. So I'm at the crib. We got a game. So they played the early game. We got a game in Green Bay, the little 4:15, 3:15, whatever. So I'm watching this. I'm like, these boys done got knocked out. I'm like, all right, let me jump in the car, hop in the Urus, of course. So I whip over to the stadium. I go sit my backpack in the locker, dap up Aaron, whatever, walk by. And they got, you walk in the locker room, they got the game zone just to set the mood or whatever. And I'm like, them boys getting smacked. They like, when the last time you seen a game? I said, bro, 20 minutes ago, what you mean? I look at the TV, these boys is winning. I said, what happened, bro? They said, Pat, the magician, he done did it again. I said, all right, well, at this point, can't nobody ever feel good about a lead on that team. You gotta play a full game for them boys. And we did this last one, but we're going to have to do it quite a few more times to dethrone them.
Davante Adams, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate
you, brother.
Thank you.
My gosh.
Watch Receivers on Netflix.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life,